Initial jobless claims data just coming through here for last week, 227,000 versus 247,000 expected there. Continuing claims a little bit high side, 1.89 million versus 1.86 million expected there. We also got the Chicago Fed National Activity Index on the negative side as well, to the tune of 0.28 versus 0.2 positive. That was expected a little bit earlier this morning. We got building permits as well. We are expecting another long list of Fed speakers coming up this morning, so just keep an eye out for any comments that could move the market as far as that is concerned. 9:45 S&P Global Composite PMI. We'll get both the manufacturing and the services edition of that, and then at 10 o'clock, new home sales as well. So probably the busiest day as far as the economic calendar is concerned this morning. 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. Michigan sentiment as well also can be a market mover. A ton of things moving around here. Yeah, I just pulled up QuantumScape. I had no idea, but I missed that last night. They reported better than expected results here for QS. 26% to the upside. Obviously, Tesla, the big one. Absolute monster here this morning, just continuing as well to make new highs. 14.25% here. Pretty decent sized beat for Tesla as we got that after the close yesterday.
Unreal, unreal. I mean, the only kind of hiccup was the revenue, and it wasn't even a year-over-year decline. It was just a miss of expectations. Everything else just absolutely killed it. I didn't get to hear the earnings call yet, so I'll do that tonight. But lots. I read a lot about it today, and we got a lot of details exactly about how he wants to roll it out. The cyber cap, Brendo, looks like they're going to get those done in California and Texas to start, and he wants those being produced quite heavily, and it's going to be next year. I think he wants 2 million in the next few years or something like that. Don't know where he's going to get the capacity, but that's his ambition.
I mean, we sat here 2 days ago and said, you know, it's going to be more about the update and the information coming through from him on the cybercab and what we saw at that cybercab event and the lack there of detail that followed through. So I think, I mean, there was a lot of comments going into the earnings report. I was reading yesterday a little bit of analysts expecting, you know, deliveries to be either in line with expectations or maybe even a little bit to the downside, but he just continues to impress with how many cars he can pump out.
462,000 he delivered, so he maintained that year-over-year increase. We didn't get that decline. A lot of people were speculating whether we get that year-over-year decline. No, that didn't actually happen. Good look there. The Cybertruck is the third best-selling EV in the States. Cheap car, Brendo.
It's amazing.
Wow.
Like the lowest price one is now over 100,000 US. The lowest price one. Remember when it came out? It was, what was it, 65 or 68 or something like that? Crazy. Absolutely crazy. But yeah, impressive to say the least. Back to 243 here this morning for Tesla, guys. Good morning.
Good morning, and it's that margin beat was the big headliner, I think. Look, reality is they make them. They make lots of them. They make them at prices that they can make money, and nobody else can. It's basically that simple. It's not like he gave. Look, you got some aggressive. You got some. Well, talking about Elon Musk. It's not like he gave incredible amounts of detail when it came to the robotaxi or any of the rollout of the stuff that he had at the event that people thought they wanted more of. No, this was just fundamentals of the report being a big beat there for Tesla. So big move for Tesla up. There was some aggressive talk with regards to the robotaxi for next year. I think that could be why Uber is down like a 3%. But Tesla 14 points, double what the expected move was. That 7.5 always seemed a little bit light. There's so much to get to today. The chips could be on rebound. You had SK Hynix overnight in Asia with a strong port and Lam with a beat as well. So pretty much almost everything looking strong, except for the fact that Boeing is the only thing that was worse than Boeing getting more bad news with no deal for the machinists was, as you were saying, Sean, the Raptors had a strong showing in our efforts to get the #1 pick next year in the NBA draft.
I mean, those Raptors, like, they lost by 30 opening night on their home court.
Tank for somebody? I don't know. I don't even know who the guy is.
I mean, the Packers are 5-2. Okay, yeah, look, we called this yesterday, guys. Oh, my God.
Oh, my God.
I was like, yeah, Tesla could go up 20%. I mean, from the bottom yesterday, what was it, down 3% at close? So now you're up about 17, 18% from yesterday's bottoms. And then we were also talking about Tesla getting back to this 260 level. While this quarter confirms that, in my opinion, it will get back to this It will get back to this 260 level. That's the split. It'll get back to this 260, 265 level, in my opinion. There, not much for the Bulls to hate, and not much for the Bears to be hating on. I don't think that margin number 19.8 versus 16.8 really huge. X credits, it's like 17 and change, so they still wind up beating on that side of things as well. And then they give that sort of, and like I said before, he was going to talk a little bit better about the robo-taxi and what they were thinking about there and what units and expectations and things like that. The fact that he thinks they can roll this out even in 2025 in some parts, I mean, that's incredible. The humanoid talk there about it being the best, robot period, and there's no one even close. And, it was really the right things to say, and there it goes. I mean, even when he got on, boom, 430 hits, boom, the market just kept on going up from that side. I mean, obviously we have a gap here because of the time, but it didn't stop. Sometimes, you'll get the CEOs on the call and, sort of throw some cold water. It was complete opposite. They like what they heard. Tesla continues to outperform, and I think it is just along today, but we'll talk about some levels as we get going. 240 is going to be pretty key. I just really impressed with it, man. I mean, I didn't sell any of this name. Hold it. I don't think I'll be selling too much stock here. Yesterday was a great opportunity to maybe dip by some of the market. We talked about how low that was there yesterday. I mean, we got back to 20,000 right there, basically rating back into the beginning of the month. I don't know if that's going to hit again here at some point, but for right now, I think everything is pretty good. You've had some big names come through, right? Like Micron came and beat, Tesla came and beat, all the banks. So, I mean, so far this earnings season, and we're just getting started, has been huge. So, like, what about then, when these guys come out and put a number up that people don't expect, or, Microsoft and all these, I feel like there's going to be some front running now ahead of some of these quarters. Even Apple yesterday gets hit, and look, now it's back to 231 again. How low did this thing go yesterday? This 228 and change yesterday, 227 maybe. I mean, people are buying these dips. And now the NASDAQ, NASDAQ yesterday was down, 1.5%? That's a nice story. Now you're back up 1% again here today for the NQs. So keep your chin up, young man. I think the market continues higher from here.
An interesting point that Chris was making in this earnings season, it seems that, you had beats, you had strong earnings that sold, but pretty much all of those have been the ones that were at the high. So, like, if it was pretty much at the high, like an IBM or JP, like, you might have initially moved to the downside. JP gets it back. But then the names that have been depressed a little bit, those ones have been flying, the ones that are not at the highs with the market, which makes it interesting when we get SMCI next week, because that's in that latter group where they've been hanging out at the bottom. I mean, if they were to pull it out, they gave up the whole year's move. So there's a lot of interesting names to look forward to. I think obviously everyone cares about the big caps because we're going to start to get the big boys the next couple of weeks. But that SMCI, man, they've been hanging at the bottom. And by that retro theory, when he was sort of saying, look at the names that have been pulling off or have been performing the worst, they have actually gotten the best bounces on earnings. And there aren't many things that have been worse on the like, you can't say worse on the year because SMCI happened to run at the beginning of the year. But if you look at the bulk of the year, it's given up a lot. So much room if that can catch up. Of course, they got a lot of fundamental issues to deal with there because you got the short seller report, you have the investigation, but just a couple of days till we get them.
More earnings to discuss. We'll get into QuantumScape here as we go along. Impressive across the board for QS, but I want to mention this one just on a more macro global demand type idea. 8.5% here for UPS, breaking a 10-quarter revenue miss streak for UPS. So it's been a while that they've done well and done this well, in fact. So just actually took out the high there on the morning. A little bit of a pullback here, but nice beat for UPS.
And it's interesting how they're making money, Brendo. They're actually really relying on new e-commerce entrants. Well, who's selling new stuff? It's not Amazon. It's Shein and Temu. A lot of the new parcels that they're shipping out are originating from China, and they're basically taking advantage of that. It's less revenue less margins on the ground-based services than some of their air services, so they've had to kind of adjust there. But they did quite well, Brando. Exceeded Wall Street expectations on profit, raised full-year adjusted operating margins. But that was really what stood out to me, the fact that they're relying on Shein and Temu.
Kind of a funny side note. Toronto traffic is renowned as being horrible and continues to be horrible. I saw a UPS guy on a bike yesterday in the bike lane with one of those giant
Never seen that.
delivery backpacks on. So they've actually, I guess, given up on trying to drive around in downtown Toronto and are now jumping on bikes. But they're going to rip up all the bike lanes.
Well, I was just about to say that to you. Doug Ford is not a fan, Brendo, and he's the premier of this province.
I mean, the guy's just trying to do his job, and he's going to be unsafe once again. So, I mean, even UPS can't win.
Well, apparently they can win today.
Oh, UPS is winning, my guy.
They won today. Now that's an interest. I mean, that's kind of an interesting tidbit. I've never seen that. It doesn't seem like yeah, I guess that's a weird one because obviously UPS has won today, and I think we were just talking about this with regards to what Chris was saying last night. A lot of times, because something has been trend down or trend up in the case of a pullback, when something has been trend down and all of a sudden you come with a strong quarter or a beat, well, there's a few things that have to happen. People that have been waiting for an excuse to get into the longs, get into the long. People that have been short look to cover the shorts. But this is a pretty clear trend reversal here. You were already making a base on UPS, and there's that 200-period moving average. And sometimes, look, the moving averages, you want them to have mattered if you want them to matter in the future. And so when you look at UPS, since it lost for good, the 200-period moving average has been pretty hefty resistance. The 50-period hasn't been very meaningful, and you stand a pretty decent chance of closing above it. I don't know how much of a day trade stock, 300,000 shares have been done, but this 140 level and the 200-period moving average, you close above that, and I think you can start a nice little upward trend. You don't have to draw a trend line to see a trend reversal when you've got something like the 200-period holding up so well for UPS. And then them doing business and getting a boost from Temu and Shein there. I mean, at the end of the day, you've just got to go where the business is. So no hate on that. I think it's a great trend reversal. I don't think it's not much of a day trade here today, but that's mostly due to the volume and the fact that you can pick your choice of things that are bullish today. If you like big caps, you got Tesla, you got a rebound in the chips. If you like small caps, I mean, you've got that PEGI, PGY, Pineapple Energy's moving around, and then you got QuantumScape, which has a monster move as well. There's lots of volume to chase without having to look at UPS, which is pretty light on it.
Yeah, right here, look at Sofi, man. I mean, we've been hitting this name for a while, and there it goes, like a huge move right now for Sofi. Yesterday, we had this name down at that 1020 marker when you guys were mentioning it down there. And it was like, okay. And then we had that break of the 52-week high again yesterday early, and then that broke back in. The same thing that we got caught in right here that last time when it broke and then did this, it did it again. And this time it kept on going with market weakness, then rebounded at the end of the day. And now there goes Sofi up to 1072. There it goes again, 1075 right now as Sofi continues to make moves to the upside right now. So there goes SOFI, Sofi, huge mover right there. I appreciate all that Chris Bretcher stuff. But remember when we talked about Micron, we talked about this again when we had this kind of a movement down here right before earnings. So like we had talked about depressed assets getting a chance to get bumped up there. There's exact reasons why I selected green yesterday on Tesla. We talked about it. I said there was a disappointment there. He's going to fix it. It's going to get back up to the upside. That's what these CEOs do, and that's what these companies do. So, I mean, it's right. It's not rocket science. You just got to buy the best names and really just hope for the best. You never know what quarters are going to be coming out, and it's always a risk when you're playing that game. And even Sofi right here. I mean, some of these stocks just running crazily this morning. So, yeah, we're ready to go here. It's 8:45.
Another earnings name just popping up in front of me here, doing a little bit of volume. I haven't looked at this for quite some time, but yeah, that's a weekly chart of IBM, if anyone else hadn't checked that out for a little bit. Revenue miss, though, a little bit downside here so far this morning. We're trading around 224 down here, 224, 225, there it is. for IBM. But overall, I mean, this chart is pretty impressive.
It's not a bad look, and they're not down that much given the miss here. So they had a net loss as well in terms of profitability, about $330 million, but it was a one-off event to take care of a pension deal that they had to take care of. Now, what's doing well for their segment, software, killing it, 10% year over year. Consulting services, flat. They continue to do a little bit worse in infrastructure revenue, which is their mainframe computers. That's down 7%, but there's good news coming for that. Clients are anticipating new mainframe computers launch in 2025, so that could boost revenue. And as you said, Brendo, up 43% year over year.
Yeah, pretty impressive, but not a lot of action here as far as volume is concerned. 3.5% right now downside, guys, for IBM.
Yeah, and as we were saying in the something on UPS there. UPS, I think its shippers have tempered expectations for volumes in the holiday season. I mean, UPS is going through the moon, but in the aftermarket, we already saw IBM do the bounce off of the 50-period moving average. It was sort of that first line of sand that you would look for, like at 215, and it already made that bounce. Volume's going to be even lighter than UPS and IBM, and just again, like it's a supremely impressive chart. So you have like one little thing that's amiss, the revenue doesn't come in as expected there, and yeah, you get a bit of a dip. Obviously, this is a stock that has done pretty well in terms of looking at dips, but if you look at the last time it had a hefty dip, the consolidation took, well, like a week and a half in here before you caught a bounce, and even then, it leveled off a little bit. So this is probably just one to back off of, see how it settles down in the next week or so. Does it hold? Does it retest or maybe hold 215 or find some kind of a new base to then go upside off of? It happens. Like when you get these stocks that have been trending up, you get maybe a break of a support, you get a bit of a dip, and then you get some kind of a consolidation. That can take days, it can take weeks. I mean, sometimes it could take a month or so. But you've already seen it happen once here in IBM, and really that was from late April. And then I'd say it started breaking back out again in July and then back off to where you now see it. So I think it could be due for something like that once again.
Yeah, I mean, I really like IBM. They missed on the sales number there. It's been a great stock to own. I mean, it's been an absolute beast. It's outperforming many names that you probably don't expect. Okay, here it is, IBM. So year-to-date rate here on IBM. Geez. 43%. Rounded up, 42.3. Rounds up to 43 when you're a bull. 42.3% right there.
Sure.
Monster move for IBM. Just continues to work out. I mean, even though it's down here, you look at it on longer time frame, it's nowhere near anything to be worried about. You could drop an anchor right at its most recent low back here, back in that August 5th. I mean, that's kind of cherry picking a little bit. You're well above it. I mean, the 50-period moving average will be very similar to this anchor right here, down to 210. So anything down into this area is a definite buy, but IBM's not going anywhere down there. So nice move there for IBM. Really like it. Short flow 2.4%. We'll see what winds up happening with it today. Not a stock that I'm particularly looking at. I still have the big dogs on my mind there. But yeah, UPS, another name to look at there as we talk a little bit about UPS, of course, is FedEx. They've been performing really well this year, but was that their earnings call?
I think
it was a pre-report or something. Nice dip down, but then now today getting that boost back up and getting that garbage out of here and looking like a fantastic long in and about this 277 area. If you can break that right here on FedEx, like that is, that's pretty sweet, man. With the 50-period moving average, oh boy, that's going to be a good trade there for FedEx. Anybody wants to take that one on that break. So far, so good there today. Yeah, some of the other names, Rivian, so on and so forth, catching tailwinds with our guy over there, Elon. But you can see right here what's going on with Sofi. Sofi just continues to make moves higher here. Now up 3.3% as this name continues to go. Again, just breaking out all the levels right now. There goes Sofi. I think this could be a long if we can get a bid back down to 1060. Remember, we've seen this name dip and dive very many times. So watch out for Sofi, but it looks like it has 11 in its sights.
You'll just call it something completely different. Yeah. Boeing here, downside this morning, more negativity, unfortunately. We mentioned this a couple days back. The vote doesn't go their way, doesn't get ratified again. So they turned down the latest deal or the latest offering. We're back down to 154 here, basically where we were the past couple of weeks.
So, Brendo, they offered them 35% increase in wages, increased 401k contributions, and a $7,000 signing bonus. They're not interested in that. They want 40%. They want a pension, and they want some other stuff. So we're gonna have to hold on to this. Boeing reported $6 billion quarterly loss when we last heard from them. And now we know a new figure of $1.2 billion per month is bleeding here. But according to Kramer, everything is going to be fine because as soon as they raise cash, it's all going to be hunky-dory again.
Fine. 1.9% meanwhile. We are trying to claw our way back higher here this morning, guys.
Yeah, it's actually caught a pretty decent bid so far in the pre-market on 500,000 plus shares here. So not bad at all. I mean, Boeing, like it's been trying to, in higher time frame, it's been trying to make a bottom for a bit, and it did break a bit of a channel down since the last time it was at the 200. So, you know, there was a break of this little downward channel, and then it held above it. There's no fresh low yet, and I think there's decent hope that you've got the bottom in. If it doesn't make a fresh low with this delay, and they actually get a deal done, I think there's a chance that you could have already seen the bottom, but 150, ooh, sweet.
Oh, yeah.
I actually already have them, but I'll take two, unless you want to grab one. They even got a big one. The fruit game back there, by the way, Randy. It's not just bananas, man.
I've already had the grapes.
The whole, the grapes were good. Green grapes.
Melon is up in there.
Yeah, they got everything.
Your Tesla, eh? Okay. You've been buying this name or what?
Always.
Yeah. Oh, have you been buying these dips? No, exactly. Okay.
You don't.
14% right now. Yeah, Tesla, Randy. It's a very, very impressive number there as it goes up. Maybe we can have Randy on at some point today to talk a little bit about this. But yeah, nice move up there, 14.5% as they talk about robo-taxis. They talk about potentially a lesser price vehicle coming through there, Randy. Yeah, and that was the other thing. Third largest EV sale vehicle sold in the U.S. is the Cybertruck, and they just released that, and so many people are hating on it. So it's like, imagine if people actually like that thing. I mean, this guy's going to be making a lot of differences here coming up in the EV space if he hasn't already. The only company making money on EVs, Tesla, and their margin went up to 19.8%. From 16.8, X credit something around 17. So Tesla continues to work out. I don't know, it might be a little high today. I think we are no doubt going back into this 265 area, and it's probably by, what day is it today? Thursday, mid next week? Is it?
Yeah, it's Thursday.
Yeah, Thursday, yeah. I always know just by the football. 265 coming through there for Tesla very, very soon. All right, let's go. Upgrades, nope, not yet. We'll go back over to the desk.
Yeah, a few other things to note here this morning. Sharif and I were talking about some of the small caps, or lack thereof, maybe this morning. It's been a little bit quieter so far today. ZENA, really the main one today. We were expecting Luis to join us to talk about some of these. That's why I was leaving it for him, but he has not arrived yet. We'll reach out to Luis, though. Zena Technology. Already doing a significant amount of shares. This is a recent addition, it looks like, back to 141 here. But we're trading up here this morning, back above $3, which is that high if you go out to the daily chart for this one.
Yeah, not bad here, Brendo. 76% and going. Zena Drone subsidiary acquires a U.S. design patent pertaining to the drone design it's using for over 1,000 of its products, so good look. But I got to tell you, I've been trading these on the market or on the How to Trade Midday show, and you kind of feel that the continuity that you got with these is dwindling a little bit. They make a move, and then usually they're either consolidating or pulling back. So you kind of try to pick up on these waves of momentum, Brendan.
Yeah, there was that initial burst of excitement and volume, and seems to be tailing off a little bit. TVGN, another one here, gapping to the upside big time, 310 right now. So that's a daily chart, so it's above everything at this point right now on TVGN. CCTG, there's another one. That one's a little bit, I mean, I guess not, 280. BOF and that WISA moving around here in the pre-market as well, WISA. Let's go over to Adara at the screen.
Well, of course, you're kicking off the upgrade list. Of course, a higher after its earnings report, getting quite a few analyst notes, including this upgrading $278 price target from Canaccord Genuity. We have CPKC here, Canadian Pacific, getting an upgrade from Susquehanna. Next Era Energy up more than 2%. They reported earlier this week, and they have this JP Morgan Chase upgrade. And PROG Holdings here with an upgrade from Raymond James. On the downgrade side, another recent earnings name on watch here, Verizon, down about 0.75% with this KeyBank Capital Management downgrade they reported on Tuesday morning. U.S. Bancorp getting downgraded by Deutsche Bank. Sirius XM slightly up on the day, but getting this downgrade from BofA Securities. And last but not least, ATI with a downgrade from KeyBank Capital Management. Quite a few names to talk about, but of course, TSLA probably leading the list here, guys.
A lot about Tesla today. Off on that board, I mean, Sirius, Siri there with the downgrade. I mean, it doesn't really matter upgrade, downgrade, but they just recently had that. They just obviously recently had that reverse. And a lot of times stocks don't perform well after that. This, oddly enough, is holding out the top. But if you look at this consolidation, they get a downgrade. Look at the last, yesterday, and then go back to, what is this, like the 16th? It's broken 27, which has been support, dipped right into like 26.40, and then right back to 27. I don't know if it loses this 26.40 area. Seems like a bit of a flat bottom break there on Siri if it loses that level. The volume, I mean, it really doesn't do a lot of volume. And of course, when you do a reverse split, I mean, you're not expecting volume liquidity to be the same. That's the whole idea. But yeah, watch out for this if it ends up losing that bid and then does the normal thing that splits do. But I wanted to make a comment about that Xena stock. I don't really know anything about it, except, I mean, yeah, strict downward trend. Then it bounces, and look at all this volume that takes it right into 330, 340. I would imagine that some bag holders were created, it's a very short term there, in this $3 area. So if it can't hold that, some people will be really happy at the open to see it at that price after the last gap up, and then it trended back down. So this really does need to carry above $3.50 there. When you zoom it out, not a very good look unless it can get above that 350. It's probably a really big bag holding zone where there's going to be some good liquidity. So yeah, I'd like to see this one break out 350. I think you're buying it right into that last level currently. Just want to make sure we zoomed out and showed that chart.
I was just talking to Chef Joe there in the chat. I'm trying to figure out what the best play for Tesla is, so don't worry, we'll have some coverage on that one. Yeah, man, I mean, as far as runners are concerned, I mean, everyone always asks us about DJT. I mean, this is going to be another day here where you've had a nice move down and now you're making a nice move up again here potentially, and still trying to hold long. I mean, like I was saying, I don't think we want to be short until the end of the election or even as you get close to it. I still liken this to like just an event that's going to be happening. It's like the Cybertruck's coming, so we're going to get long ahead of it. Then the Cybertruck event happens, market goes down, right? And so I feel like that's what's going to happen here. You've had a nice run up. I would still say it could still has some legs for sure. I think we could get to 40 before I guess November 5th. I don't even want to hold it into that week, so it doesn't really matter. I think next week is maybe the last week to think about this kind of movement, and that's not that far away. So maybe even tomorrow we'll see about expirations for options on the weeklies and things like that. But I think $40, you're getting up there at that level. I mean, remember, we had that assassination attempt. That was a huge move up, and then it just basically could not find a bid all the way down until eventually it did there at $12. So thank you, Randy. It did hit our price target in and around $10, but now you're up almost 4x from there. So nice move. Yeah, I already put that bear into a bull there, Randy, so we're going to keep them double bulls right there. But there's the nice move up on Donald J. Trump. This election, Randy, is only now a couple days away, November 5th. So we're talking about like maybe 8 more market days or so before this happens, and then we'll see what's going on there. And then we'll, because Randy's here, we've seen some movement in nat gas and some movement in oil recently. XOM did have a huge move up to that 126 area, which I think was basically double topped somewhere up here. I think we looked at it. Anyways, yeah. I guess right in and around here, 124, 125. Now the pullback. But Randy, I still think it's pretty healthy as long as you're above the 50-period moving average right there. And you have to remember, a company like XOM is also trying to get greener. It's not like they do have initiatives there as well in that space. So we'll wait to see. Oil refinery obviously getting greener as well, and with AI getting a little more efficient. What just happened to me here? Okay, well, we are into a position, as you can see at the bottom. It is Palantir.
Market's coming back a little bit here.
Yeah, nice move back in. We'll take Palantir 43. It is the #1 ID on the sticky note.
NVIDIA just pulled back about $1, and the market just came back in here about like 30 or 40 points in the last couple of minutes. So there is a bit of a dip happening. Maybe it's a delayed reaction. It was mixed numbers that we got. and the jobless claims, right? So continuous claims higher, jobless claims was a little bit lower. So you are getting a bit of a dip. Double check, it's not affecting, Tesla's not going anywhere. It's basically just hanging at those highs. But you did see just now a few names like Apple just lost 231 and dropped a little bit. It looked to me like NVIDIA was the biggest faller out of almost everything that I was seeing. I just want to double check on Lamb. Lamb not really falling all that much. That was a strong report. We'll get to all of those and more, but a little bit of a dip there in the market. Probably the most I saw in NVIDIA was the biggest one, but notably Tesla didn't move even a little bit. So let's go back up to the desk and see what's going on in them future.
Yeah, not seeing anything market moving at this point. PHUN, Funware, just announcing their CEO is going to retire. So heads up on PHUN, but nothing major as far as the overall market is concerned. Speaking of, let's get into what we need to know.
58.38, guys. That's where we closed out yesterday on the ES December contract. Look how we defended the shelf that we put in on the 9th to the 10th of October. We come back there and we hold that on the closing print. We're still below this shelf over here at 58.75. Let's see if we can take that. If we can take that, we're looking at 5,900. Otherwise, we're going to look at the same level that we defended yesterday, 58.40.
If you haven't done so yet, make sure you jump down to the description of this video right now. There's a link for the watch list. Very, very, very simple. All you need is your email address. Enter that, and you get that every single morning for free. Has everything you need to know on it every day in the pre-market sent right to your inbox. Barely a downtick on this chart so far this morning. That's Tesla, if you're just joining. Absolute, monster earnings report. Basically everything a beat. Deliveries, I mean, it was pretty impressive right across the board, to the point where, you know, I was mentioning earlier, I was reading yesterday, there's a few analysts making the point of how long can he possibly keep this up? This rate at which they're sending these cars out the door, and the answer is another quarter at least.
Yeah, he delivered 462,890 vehicles in the quarter. That's a 6% increase year over year. Now look, he did quite well in all the segments. Automotive revenue, 2% increase. But this is what you and I were talking about yesterday. Energy generation and storage revenue, AKA solar and batteries, 52% increase year over year. And growing, Brendan. A lot of the mainstream media would like you to believe that the profitability came from the automotive credits, these green credits. That's not true. $739 million was what he took home from that. Compare that to the $20 billion that he generated from automotive revenue, or the $2.33 billion he generated from energy storage and solutions. Even services and other revenue, Brendo, $2.8 billion. So a marked difference between that and the green credits.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about the storage, the energy storage angle with them going into Japan the other day on the show, and it just proves the point. 245 being tested right now here, guys, for Tesla.
Yeah, I mean, like, everyone's, what are the levels on Tesla? I mean, the resistance levels were 47, 50, and as Sean mentioned, 65. So at this point, and remember, when the market just dipped, and pretty much everything I was looking at or had a chart up for did a dip in that moment, Tesla, I think, might have moved 10 cents to the downside when the market was moving, and when NVIDIA went $1 down just now. So Tesla continued to hold strong. You got to move target on a lot of things. I mean, I was looking at the 15 originally, and the last time we were at these prices, it was informative, right? Like, you had, I think, clear support at 38 and 39, and then you had this nice level at 42. I still like this 42 in here. So if we're going to get some kind of dip buy, I'd like to think there's going to be some profit taking with a move like this. When you extend another $7 in the pre-market before we even get to the open off a gap up like that, my initial thought is there's going to be some profit takers in there before we get to the $250 level. So 42 and then that 39 area, that's where I'm looking for a pullback there on Tesla. It's interesting, some of the sympathy plays that have happened over this, because, I mean, the margins were a blowout, but Tesla being able to blow out on margins isn't necessarily a good thing for Rivian, let's just say. But they're getting the drag. I mean, it's a kind of a weird thing. Okay, so Tesla's more efficient than everybody and has gotten more efficient relative to everybody. So the guys that aren't efficient get a bump when Tesla gets a bump. Okay, I mean, that could just be anything. That said, if Rivian decides to sell back off, same as yesterday, really just should buy it at $10. I mean, look at it at $10. So if there is a pullback, I think Rivian at $10 makes a ton of sense. And if it happens to get dragged up to a breakout, I'm suspecting Tesla is going to be the better trade. But I think it has I think this has a decent chance of giving this move back on a dip in Tesla. And then this stock at $10 has been a really good bounce spot. It's just a weird one. Like, I'm not chasing a Rivian move today. I'd rather patiently wait for a good dip buy there in Tesla, because I don't necessarily think this is some auto, everyone else in North America is good after Tesla blew it out. No, that's a Tesla story, and it's a Tesla-only story for now.
All right, I think patience today is going to be so important in this trade. So I've already written it down. I'm going to get the sticky note out in just a couple seconds here. I was just adding some hashtags and whatnot. All right, so 245. I mean, yeah, it's going. I'm just going to do the obvious thing. When there's a gap, play to VWAP. So 42.50. You know, that's going to be what it is. I didn't write down a number. I mean, I can just push send right now, and the sticky note will be out. So get ready for that. Bears versus Bulls in just a matter of seconds. But you know, at the end of the day, impressive, right? I mean, yesterday we had it up here. I pushed green right in front of you. I talked all yesterday about how, you know, I really thought that this was set up, you know, to get to the long side and just to sort of right the wrongs that had happened with the Cybertruck. But the thing about this is, let's not get carried away, ladies and gentlemen. Tesla is still flat on the year. It's been well underproducing everything else. So this is excluding today. So you're up 14% today. Since January 1st, minus 14%. So you are just back to green today, while the NASDAQ this year is up 20%. So this has been a huge disappointment this year, even with this move happening right now. It is a day trader's stock. It is a swing trader's stock. This stock has had 40% moves like it's candy over the last 3 or 4 years. So unless you're picking the tops and bottoms, it does become pretty hard to hold this name because, as I said, here's January right here. So you are now just getting back. If you bought dips, great. If you sold rips, fantastic. I feel like you're going to get another opportunity right here. I like the long. I think it's going back to 265, and I don't have a problem saying that. We liked the long yesterday. We talked about it. Yesterday, I was laughed at when I said Tesla could go up 20%. It's up 18% from its lows yesterday. So we'll have to wait to see what happens now with Tesla. I think it goes higher, and yeah. But the play for now is not to break out anything. You're already up pretty huge. It's already doubling what it was supposed to be up now. Palantir right now is winning. That's going up to the upside now, 10 cents in the money. We'll see what happens here with Tesla. I like to play back to VWAP, which will probably be around 243 if you're going to be exact. But we still have 23 minutes and the imbalances that come out, which should affect it.
All right, NVIDIA once again showing leadership this morning as far as semiconductors are concerned. Trying to bounce right now. It's tested this closing area or aftermarket area from yesterday. A couple of minor notes this morning. One of their main suppliers, SK Hynix, reporting record quarterly earnings. This as well, AI partnership with Reliance, Infosys, and Wipro on the robotics side announced for NVIDIA. So already here, once again, 1% to the upside.
Yeah, it was really interesting, this HK Hynix report, because we know that high bandwidth memory is kind of a leading indicator for AI chip demand because they're kind of put in together with the AI chips. So they beat on the top and bottom line. I won't bore you with that. But what I did like from the report was they saw significant increase in demand for HBM, 70% increase from year over year. And this is after we heard that Micron was having some issues, and Micron reported, and it didn't really pan out that way. Just to let everybody know, HBM, high bandwidth memory, is a type of DRAM that's stacked vertically. They use them in laptops as well. It's supposed to save space, Brenda.
Yeah, nice look, though, to start things off here once again, guys, for NVIDIA.
Yes, sir. With that HK Hynix,
Some NVIDIA.
it might be worth, I mean, it can be worth maybe looking at Micron could have a strong day off of that. They're a little bit more directly related as well. But you found the bottom. It didn't take very long, I guess, on NVIDIA. You get 1 day of selling. It never quite got to 137. That would have been, that's the spot that once you lost 142, 140, I should say. That's the spot I would have been waiting for. I think there's a very, very slight chance that you see that support today, but that's a clear level for sure. I just like it above 142. I think as Sean was mentioning when it comes to patience, like with it, this is a different type of patience. I mean, Tesla's in its own camp when you're up 15%, having patience on a dip buy. I think NVIDIA is going to be the same thing for me today because you closed 139.5, which always sets a nice important level there. And it was a good level before, around 139.5 to 140. But if it's not breaking out above 142, you got to wait for good dip buy prices, and I don't want to diddle in the middle at all with NVIDIA. The one chip name that stood out yesterday, well, they all stood out, but one of them that stood out was ARM. ARM by the end of the day was down like 7.5%. It was weaker than the rest of the group. And it's the only chip name down right now, down 1% when everybody else is bounced. So I guess, they're taking this Qualcomm fight, at least the market, I should say, is taking this Qualcomm fight a little bit seriously. That's why they were down the most. And it is at that 50-period moving average at 139. So the last time it was at the 50, it essentially caught a bid and then rallied for, I don't know, we'll call that like 10 straight days. You can probably count that yourself. So 139 on ARM is a nice little over-under. If we can get down to that price, show any kind of a bounce, that's where the 50 is held pretty nicely. And you want it to matter. Again, if I'm looking at the 50 simple on a daily chart and looking at it as a bounce potential zone for a stock, I want it to have actually mattered in the past. It is actually caring about that level. So ARM at that 139, I think, is a bounce spot. If it's back up in here and the chips start to rally, though, it's relatively weak. I think that's the only one that if it gets to the previous close price and we show some kinds of rollovers or we can't break out the highs, that's the chip name that's been the most short. But I don't want to short it at that 139 because that's the support level. It has to actually give you a move up first.
Look, yesterday's number one trade was AMD. I'm surprised I'm not looking back at that here today, but I just saw yesterday NVIDIA start to go crazy. And I really like watching it and being able to see when those levels really start to go. So I just wanted to say that I felt a little silly writing down 138 long here on NVIDIA, but then I thought about it and I was like, we were just there at 3 p.m. yesterday. So it's like the market's not even open yet. And from where we were yesterday, like it's possible to get right back into this level again. So let's just wait to see if that's possible first. You know, we've seen this name take huge hits off the open before, including 142 down to 130, 138 again, 138.50. So that's 350 off, or 450, 350. So if we could get some sort of a dip like that again, it does put us back into an area that I think can get bought up. I mean, you know, weakness yesterday, we saw the NASDAQ down that 2%, then the rebound off of that 20,000 number. I don't see negativity right now in the market with any of these stories. I mean, Tesla talking AI, NVIDIA is AI. NVIDIA now in our ear getting a deal with Zoom or just putting something out with Zoom Media here. So, I mean, I like it, or was it Zoom Communications? One of those. Anyways, I really like these levels down into here. So 139 to 138, I think it's a buy for sure. And yesterday, AMD, again, we traded it really well yesterday. We went short on it, believe it or not, and that were the best trades for me there, just playing off of this trend. And we actually had this short right here at 152.60 all the way to the downside, and we ran that. That was a very good opportunity, and we took it all out. I mean, if you go over on Twitter, you'll see my trades there. And then at the end of the day, an absolute monstrous rip continuing here today as well. I mean, this is the beat up name that I think you want to buy. I wouldn't really buy any of the other ones if you're going to be in chip names. We've already put out a video today that I think will go out today. I know Andre's working on it. But right now, 152 to 154, like these are good. This is a good name to buy at the 50-period moving average. I think that they're going to not battle NVIDIA or anything like that, but there's room enough for them to win, I think. As long as you're above the 50-period moving average, I like AMD. It's really rocking today, so we'll watch the 200 down here at that magical number of 154.
All right, let's go on to Boeing. If you're with us in the first 30 minutes, we touched on it briefly, but we'll revisit here. Boeing back to the upside right now, but market rolling over. 2.5% here to the negative. If you missed it, Boeing, the union rejecting this latest offer. The strike will continue. The mounting costs along with the strike will continue here for Boeing.
64% of voters, Brendo, rejected this contract offer. They actually want a 40% wage increase. The company offered 35. They're also dissatisfied with the lack of pension. The company offered 401k contributions. But there is a bit of a wild card here being held by the company, and that is the potential for moving manufacturing from the Northwest to the Southeast in South Carolina. That is obviously something that's still on the table that hasn't been agreed to by both parties. So we'll continue to watch this, but they're losing about $1.2 billion a month right now.
Yeah, back to this, I don't know, we're calling it the strike range, I guess, if you go out to a higher time frame chart for Boeing. I mean, all the gains we saw in the past couple of days, gone, just like that.
Yeah. Not all of them, though. Almost. I mean, okay, fine, yes, the last couple of days, but certainly off the lows. And what we were talking about before on Boeing is, you had this 146 bottom when it lost 150, and then there's your one, it's more like 151, actually, this little top in here. But it's 154 that's the over-under for me. If they can take this news in stride and it end up getting bought up past 154, then you don't want to fight it. I think that's a good thing. And ultimately, it's going to take some time, I guess, to get a new offer out there and maybe get the deal done. But I guess the good news was less people rejected, less machinists rejected the deal than prior, which means that you're making some kind of a progress to get some certainty here. And you want it to, on the longer time frame, you want it to actually make a round and bottom with higher lows and close above the 50 period and all the things that I've said before with regards to names like this. But it's getting pretty close, I think, to doing that, especially if it doesn't make a fresh low after that news. Now, for today, it's just an over-under 154 for me. You know, 154 was yesterday's support. I mean, not even support, it's just where it bounced yesterday there. And then it was support prior. So multi-day support at 154. If it holds above, I think it has a great chance to rock it. And otherwise, if you do a fail at the open at that price, it's a short back into 150 to 151. On Boeing. So you got to let this one probably test that 154 at the open here, as it looks like it's pretty prone to do so. I think this is a pretty decent sign that it's not pressing fresh lows. If it manages to not make a new low in the next week after this news, that'll be a good step. I still want it to close above the 50-period moving average before I'd even attempt like some kind of a swing or something long in Boeing. Hasn't broken that pattern yet.
All right, so I was just looking at SMR, and I mean, this name has a 27% short float, and it's pulled back to a nice area here. I'm long this name. We got some out at 1837. And right now, I'm just looking at this and thinking that a 17, if we can get into 17, I think it's worth holding to 1670 here. Which has been those wick bottoms, and you want to give it a little bit more. Let's say 1650 or so. But I just think a 17 long here on SMR is something. We've seen Dominion there. We talked about this energy company. Now, some of these have pulled back, right? I mean, you get that big story. Actually, Dominion has not. I thought, okay, well, yeah, the last 2 days were oppo for them. But yeah, so they had pulled back and now starting to go again. So NNE, I think.
NNE got moked this morning, by the way.
Yeah, NNE.
Offering this morning.
Yeah, I saw that. So down to $17 there today. But even besides the offering there, we were starting to go down again into that level. So I do feel like there is some support down around here for NNE as well. But the reason that NNE is why we're sort of looking at SMR. I just don't know if you want to be playing a name that has the offering to the long side quite yet. Maybe let it settle down, but you could get that 10% bump in NNE. So that would be the other play right here for that is the fact that you get the SSR bounce. So at 10%, you'll no longer be able to like go short off of. If we come over here, Fabian, just quickly, right now you can only get short if you offer here, so you'd have to offer 94 or 95 and hope somebody comes in and gets you short when that goes to 10%. But for now, you can just say, oh, I want short. I'll take 94s. I'll take 93s. I'll take 90s. But you are getting very, very close to that. We have a C here, so the condition, I guess, we've probably already gone SSR. So we were probably SSR yesterday. So it looks like you were down 10%. Yeah, we were. So yeah, this is already SSR. So you're not going to get an SSR bounce. So I take that away. But anyways, there it goes. NNE to the downside. I'm saying if SMR catches any slack from this, then I would be going long in and around this 17 area, giving it to that 1650. In fact, I'm going to put a bid there right now on SMR in and around 17.
Let's talk about Palantir here, trying to come back into 43 right now. This was right at 4 o'clock yesterday, so we did get a nice pop at the close for PLTR, about $1.50. New contract coming through from L3 Harris. Very volatile yesterday here for PLTR.
Yeah, it's a good commercial acquisition this time, not government. Here's the deal, guys. So it's going to combine L3 Harris's sensor and systems with Palantir's artificial intelligence platform. Specifically, what they're going to be looking to do here is enhanced targeting detection and situational awareness. It's all in support of the U.S. Army specifically, Brendo. So good look here, up 1%.
Yeah, another day, another contract, guys, for Palantir.
Another day, another contract for Palantir. But you know what? That's how it works. And interestingly enough, look, Palantir the last 3 days. Look, I know yesterday because of how it ended up dipping, you have higher lows in here on Palantir. Look, what I actually wrote down for myself, I like 42, and I was really more interested if it could make a break off the top here. It was more along the lines of if it breaks and gets into this range. When you have an obvious top on Palantir, the last few times that it's gotten to like a fresh high, not all-time highs, but like 52-week highs, the play into that high has been better than taking the break. So you want to play into that high, and then when it breaks out, look for like secondary trades. So I'm looking for this to actually get above here. It's like 43.70, and then if you consolidate above, play longs into that high. But until then, 42 looks like a pretty good zone on a dip. I don't think we get there ultimately, but I didn't think a lot of stocks would get to the bottoms that they got to yesterday. So you never want to write things like that off. But I want a consolidation above that 43.60 to play into that 44.5 top, and I think that's pretty unlikely to happen. So I don't know that I'll be trading Palantir here today. Probably a lot more likely, like I said, to be in things like Tesla, and we're mentioning Boeing in there. So Palantir probably not for me.
All right, Palantir 43 long. It is going to be one of the first ideas I'm looking at right here today. New deal with L3 Harris. I mean, it has dipped down, often on deals, so we have to watch out for that. I said 42.50 is the key support. I was actually just talking with Sharif and telling him that, one thing about using bigger share size is you have to make sure that you're at the right levels. And right now, I'm not 100% sure that this dip down into 43 is the right level, which is why I wrote down this 42.50. We talked about where NVIDIA was yesterday afternoon and held. That's kind of the area that I'm thinking about right now for this name. So 42. So look, the position that I have right now is like a 10%. I'm doing this now in the pre-market for levels that I like so that I can sort of get in and then just sort of see and engage, because honestly, I just can't. If I don't have skin in the game, then it's kind of like I'm not super interested in it all the time. So I'm going to mark this down here at 43. So we're going to wait to see, if it holds right here. It was a level we were talking about. But as you can see, the 200 period right now looks like it wants to get hit to the downside. Although the NASDAQ looks like it wants to hold, we're basically flat with it. And then Palantir has nasty moves, man, all the time. Like why did we dip down here 70 cents or whatever off the open yesterday, only to rip up another $1.50 or whatever from that low there? And then only to crank it again right back down into those lows and then create, this is crazy. I didn't even realize how wild this was yesterday. Palantir all the way back down into 42 again, only to close in and around 43. So that's where we are right now. We'll see if we can get a bump. Hopefully we can. There's the takedown. I don't have any more bids other than this 42.50 to see if we can hold it. I mean, honestly, we're at 42.60 right here, but that's the area that we're looking at. To break this 42.40 would be the closing of that trade, and I am completely fine with putting in a lot of shares down into this area because I believe it will hold. And if you're not here to trade, then please exit door left, because this is going to be an opportunity. We'll see if it's there, and if it's not, we'll get hit, right? And we'll lose. So we'll get out at 42.40 if it breaks, but we'll see what happens with Palantir here. Again, their report is not for a minute, I don't believe. So let me just get that add to you before I talk about it. SMR's report November 7th. I was
It's a couple of weeks, actually.
Yeah, I was looking at that one there. Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's always November 4th. So, you know, not too far away, but about 2 weeks or so for PLTR coming in post-market November 4th. So, yeah, man, 42.60, 42.50. I'm willing to ride.
Let's talk about QS here, coming off in a hurry right now. We weren't able to hold 650 at the high there for QuantumScape, back to 625. Trying to bounce here with a bit of a pullback. But yeah, if you missed it, they've finally started to, it looks like, roll out and actually ship some of these, what they're calling B-sample cells for this battery product, which from what we're reading is a solid state product. So they're sending them out to automotive customers for initial testing. So positive in a big way if this becomes something that is sustainable.
Yeah, it's still a science experiment until we see it mass produced in cars, Breno. So look, the energy density is supposed to exceed 3 times that of regular lithium-ion batteries. Fast charging, 10 to 80% in 15 minutes if you believe the hype. It's supposed to be anode-free, solid-state lithium metal cells. Apparently, they're sending samples of them to car manufacturing companies to try to use them in some, I guess, prototype cars. We'll have to wait and see what the results are like.
Yeah, looks pretty good here right now, guys, in the pre-market. What do you think here for QuantumScape today?
Thought this was like a bigger shortfall than it is. It's 16% according to what I'm looking at here, 11 days to cover. When I'm pretty sure the last time I looked at it, it was in the 25 to 30 range, if not even a little bit higher than that. That said, obviously you're going to get some covering when you just broke simultaneously the 200 and the 50 and the 200, and then the consolidation on the dailies right here, 640. So it's back underneath this 640 price, which means if it's going to continue a little bit lower, you've got $6 on that daily. It already held on to that level once. I don't like how much it's already pulled back, so you're going to need to hold the open here at $6. Otherwise, this is exactly the kind of stock you don't want to sit on the bid of at the open. If you want to, you might just get wicked out and it could still be good. So I'd like to see it hold on to $6, but this could be a nice little runner today. Disappointed to see it already lose that 640, which was the key level for me. It looked like it was just going to be trending up, and now all of a sudden, you know, you're 20, 30 cents underneath it, which isn't very good. This is the last one. I wanted to mention Uber here. We'll go to Tree for a quick little second, but I wanted to mention Uber, presumably down just because of Tesla and the update on maybe robotaxi or cybertaxi or next year. Underneath resistance 78.80 here on Uber, or just the 79 level. And I think if it gets to 75, let's just say there is a big disaster day here. If it gets to the 50 period at 75, I'd be looking long. But anything back into 78.80, like short pop into 78.80 to 79 prior highs there on Uber as a look for me. QS, I'm going to have to wait until the open range gets put in.
All right. Thank you to JF here for the super chat. Did we look at Sofi this morning? Yeah, we did. I mean, I was looking at it. And yeah, I'm with you. Here is the Benzinga Pro platform right here. I don't see any news whatsoever on Sofi. So we had that news yesterday about the student loan payment program. We did talk about loan payment pause, on that program for another 6 months. We talked a little bit about that. And when we were talking about DJT and how some stocks may or may not react to different news stories. And there's one with Sofi yesterday. So we'll figure out if there is anything coming today that maybe we don't know about, but I haven't seen anything there for Sofi. I mean, it's $11 incoming. We talked about it when it was at 1060 today. I said probably 11 now that we've taken that out. I mean, what an impressive move here for Sofi. All right, man, the imbalances are now out. We'll have a quick little look here. TLL, so no major names. That is the Tesla long. So that is there. And then there's Tesla right here as well as a bid. So, all right, let's go back over. We didn't do Sharif yet, right? So let's go over to Sharif with a minute and a half left.
We're talking about options today, Sean, specifically the Iron Condor. It's not going to be taught by me. It's going to be taught by Joe. If you're into that kind of thing, check it out with us on How to Trade at 11.
Thank you very much there. So options lesson with Joe today. Make sure you check that out. But for now, we got the open. A couple of penny stocks on that locator, Cation and LLAP, but TSLA shows up there. QS is a buy of 300,000, so watch out for QuantumScape although that auction price is lower than where it's trading right now. 1 minute to go. Tesla just made a nice bounce. This is what actually got me looking at that locator, because Tesla already made a bounce, does not get down into 242. Tesla catches a $2 bid. Apple just lost 230 and right back to the upside. Where is NVIDIA?
Man, okay.
You're gonna have to be patient with this Tesla. I am looking to first dip 242. NVIDIA just lost 241. I think you're gonna have to be patient off of this open, certainly losing a couple of bids in here. So I don't wanna be just sitting out there on any name with a bid at a level I don't love. Like Tesla's not an obvious level. Boeing still looking over under at the 154. So if it pops, fails 154, I want to short back underneath. Not going to stand in front of the moving freight train though if they decide to catch a bid here on Boeing. So we got we got actually 10 seconds left on this Thursday. Let's see if we can get some Tesla action.
I pity the fool that doesn't hit the like and subscribe button.
3, 2, and 1. Ring it.
All right, we're open. All right, here we go. Google makes a dip down into 162. That was an interesting level there. We'll try to buy some 162s. Uh-oh, the market's slipping up just a little bit as Google's trying to hold out hope here for that level. There goes Tesla. Nice move to the upside there for Tesla. It does not bounce off VWAP. Well, it does, but it doesn't really get there. 142.80 for Tesla.
Wow.
We'll see if that one wants to go. It is still going higher and higher and higher. Looks like the next place to go is 246, but we'll try to play dip buys into Tesla. 242.75 right now for TSLA. Not much else happening right now. Tesla, Palantir.
Apple is.
And is it NVIDIA? What's going on there?
Apple is getting smoked right now.
That's probably.
Apple's down to 229 and still falling here. This is a rapid move to the downside on Apple, and it looks like it's an Apple thing. I mean, I'm not seeing anything going on in NVIDIA. We thought maybe NVIDIA dip buy into like 130. I had 137, but if it can hold out the lows, might take a quick stab on NVIDIA if it's already holding the previous close and those 140.5 lows. We do like the dip buy in NVDA. The market, as we said, starting to come to said downside. Apple's actually catching a bit off 219. Sorry,
229.
229. Sorry, 229.
Yeah, we just tried a little bit there at 229. Okay, so we're back in it. I didn't really give it enough room. We just tried to get that on the way back up. Let's give this to 220. Yeah, I saw. Let's give it to 228. Yeah, our stop order is working is what we're talking about. Let's give it to 228.48 or so on Apple. We're into that one. Okay, here we go, man. Google. All right, well, Google was in and out there real quick. It just fell off right now. The market, we were feeling bearish yesterday. Today might have been the right play to feel a little bearish there as everything falling just a little bit. We do have our Apple. We do have Google. We have to get back into Google, though, because it looks like it might have just failed broke. We only got out of 75% of that Google trade at 162, but that's basically where we're long. So let's give it a shot now and see if we can get some, okay, there we go. See if we can get some profit back above this level. But, I mean, it is pretty choppy right now. Needless to say, we'll get some more averages in here on Google long now at 11s.
Yeah,
at 7s. Sorry.
I mean, the market's trying to hold this overnight low, at least is what I'm looking at over here. NVIDIA just got to 140 already. I was looking at Apple to see if I could find something like for a level, and it's not till 228 that I'd like, which is, it's crazy that we'd even see that. So NVIDIA was just quickly in and out. I caught it on the way down, which you know I don't like doing. Then it bounced off 240. 140, and on the way back up through the prior low, I got back in. So it was in and out of it flat, and now back in off of 140.5. Let's look to see it, have it calm down a little bit here after that flush into the downside on pretty much everything. But just in NVIDIA, as we speak, Tesla still hasn't tested 242 or VWAP, but when the market's weak like this, or pulling back like this, I'd rather let it get to the price that I'm looking for as opposed to try and catch that falling knife, although it looks like maybe we should have on Tesla. Gonna get some out into 141 on NVIDIA, but wow, Tesla, all the way back up to 245. Should have, instead of waiting for 242, should have just popped in.
I was at 242.50 and missed it. Oh, well.
Tesla's the one.
We've got, we've got some bangers on right here. I think Apple could be the one. All right, so here we go. Let's see what happens now with Apple. We've got a bigger position on than we probably would like, considering what's been happening. So I am okay, there we go. We're getting some out at 30s, 40s, 50s. Okay, here we go. For Apple, let's see how high we can fly now. What are we talking about now? 229.50. Let's see if we can get something out here in the 40s. Okay, now we're back in business, baby. It is Google with the long. It is Apple with the long. We're starting to print now. Google finally, now we're funny that we're like up on Google now as we took that out near the bottom. That always happens to us, but we need to be a little more patient. But I think today we were, and we were fine with it. There goes Apple. Oh my God. Here we go, man. This is going to be a big trade. The thing about the thing about Tesla is we missed it by 15 cents or so. We're at I'm sitting there right now, 242.50. We talked about getting into VWAP there, and we were just on Apple. So we actually missed the Tesla long by 8 cents. So that would have been a $4 winner by 8 cents. So there it is. But anyways, there goes Tesla right now, breaking new highs on Tesla. Apple trying to go as well. TSLA missed it by 8 cents for a $5 winner. But hey, that's trading. We're on other names, so that's what we talk about all the time. There it goes, man. Congratulations, anybody there on Tesla. 247 and change. And by the way, what does the sticky note say, everybody? I know you're here. We talked about it right now. There's Tesla. VWAP dip buys if available. So what was available today was a VWAP dip buy, and we are long in Apple. And there goes Apple right now. Apple really, really making it move back up to the upside. Let's take a little bit more out.
Yeah, it's now for Tesla. I mean, like next available dip buy, we'll have to see what that gives us. Maybe the 245 level, which was a pre-market breakout, as I think you're headed to 250, right? So I don't necessarily want to be obvious. No, I mean like next 245 to 250. I was just sort of like every $5.
50 right now.
And I don't want my first trade on Tesla to be a 250 breakout long.
Wow, Apple.
I think that would be an abject fail because there's got to be something better. So anyways, Nvidia's back through to 141. In here at 43.5. I want to see if we can get more here at 141.5. I did miss Boeing while trying to get into Tesla. Boeing did the wick, failed 154, right back into 152. So I unfortunately missed out on that Boeing short at 154. I'll let it come back into the price, put in some kind of a lower high to get that short over there in Boeing, as Boeing did get right to our level and pull back.
I mean, exactly what we talked about. But yeah, I'm not happy. I mean, that Tesla play was exactly as we written it down, and we don't have a $9 or $8 winner like we probably should. That is too bad on that one. But you know what, man? I mean, whatever. Crow over spilled milk, blah, blah, blah. There goes Apple right now. I mean, well, at least we have this one on, right? $3.30 now in the money. I was trying to figure out how many shares we had left. We have about half of this position still on, if not more. So, yeah, this has been quite the run, man. We've made a lot of money. Pretty much our whole month has been on Apple this week alone. So yeah, Apple, we nailed it 2 days ago. We had a $3 or $4 winner. Let's see if we can get going again on this name. It is the disappointing one here for me is Google. I mean, we were able to get out. We did put on a little bit more. We talked about that, and then we got some out at VWAP, but it's right now, it's Google that's falling back into that 200 period. I think Google is a buy at these levels, but we have to wait for their report to come through first before we buy this name, because it just keeps on getting hit. When is Google's report? The 29th, so we'll wait for that. Okay, so that's coming up pretty soon, man. Next Tuesday or Wednesday night. So they'll be going up after that, but for right now, they're going down. There's Palantir. Palantir makes... Okay, I'm bidding 60s on Palantir. We missed that by 6 cents, but there it goes, right there, back up to the upside. So, yeah, man, a little frustrating here so far today to have missed some of these plays, but we did not miss anything right here, as it is your #1 trade of the day, again, with Apple. So there we go. We got it. It's a nice play. Of course, it will be P&L #1, but we're going to have to try to hit that Tesla, which is right now at approaching 250. I mean, it's 249 and not going anywhere. That dip buy is going to haunt me for a minute. Feels like it's Halloween already.
Well, it's getting pretty close. Yeah, it's haunted. And
Damn it.
Look, it's going to get to, at this point, we're going to see 250 before we see 245, as I was sort of saying. I thought maybe you'd get some kind of a dip, but they're not really selling it off. It's basically just all strength over there on Tesla. So I think we're at 249. I'm still looking for some kind of a consolidative consolidative level that we can find. Only in NVIDIA. NVIDIA's just bounced off VWAP. Next out's going to be the pre-market high, 141.5. So going to get some out in front of that. While this is going on, DJT actually flushed through that support at 34.5 from yesterday. So it looks like your trend down here on DJT. If it holds 34.5 on the under, that's probably a solid looking short. And then Uber was the other one I was looking for. It didn't actually get up to that 78.80, but it could just be a matter of time. Tesla now 30 cents away, 20 cents away. It's about to break 250.
Yeah,
it is breaking 250 first.
250 right there. And, you know, many scoffed at that 20% there for Tesla. 17%, over 20% from the bottom yesterday. Miss Adara.
Keep an eye on CLS here. This is a non-Tesla earnings name. To be fair, they have traded under 1 million shares right now. I'm seeing about 800,000 shares traded, but increasing volume here. Nice breakout on the 15-minute chart. They did report an earnings beat across the board for EPS and sales. Their guidance for Q4 also stronger than expected. So great earnings and guidance for CLS, which is a market cap of about $6.8 billion, guys.
Yeah. I mean, the Tesla 250 level is coming in very, very hot. I haven't got a gander at that offer. It's not going to matter. It's done like 35 million shares here on Tesla. I do suspect like the initial break could be a fail break. And if it does do that, whatever the dip is, which I'm anticipating could be like the 48 to 48.75, like somewhere in there, I want to look for a dip buy. So if it doesn't go right away parabolically, I'm looking for a dip back into those prior lows there on Tesla. I'll get a look at QuantumScape in a second. I was going to try to see where that one was going. But just in NVIDIA, Tesla very close to this 250 breakout. Just kind of sellers at the 80 and 85 level have been holding it at least for now. We're going to have to look for the next dip. If it doesn't make this breakout, you'll have to let it tell you where the levels are going to be at this point, because it's a bit of a blue sky setup other than this 250 that we have going on.
Yeah, I'm taking that long if it comes through. We're going to bust that through there. All right, so we got some more Apple out. And by the way, this is not $1, but who the hell cares? Right now, look what Palantir is doing. Oh, boy. Man, do we have it today or what, guys? Like this Palantir, huge move up into 31s. Are you kidding me right now on Palantir? I mean, wow, nice move up. We don't have a big position. We talked about it, but really happy, obviously, as we see those moves. What just happened there? Apple, nice dip buy opportunity. We missed on Tesla. Again, we should have probably crossed a bit higher there, but here it comes in. We'll see what winds up happening now with Tesla. Did my order, it didn't even go out. What am I talking about?
That doesn't even make any, I got evens. That was a weird break.
250, well, we didn't lose. So here we go. Let's see if this dip buy back in. So we'll see that right now. We'll go long on that dip buy. We weren't getting out anyways, but here it comes. Let's see if we can get a little bit of profit back in on this dip buy there for Tesla as it's starting to go back upside. We're long at 249.38 right now. TSL to the A. Give it some room, guys.
Yeah, that was a weird break. You would have seen me flash in at exactly 250 even, which obviously means that it hadn't broken when I got in. I got a bunch of outs at the $0.50 and then right back out when it broke underneath. So it was basically a flat trade because I got a half out. Well, I actually got a third out for profit and then came right back in. Now I'm looking to buy the dip. So that was an early trigger. Not an early trigger. I got triggered by a dark pool. And then that's how you get an even dollar price. They're usually expecting like 11s or 12s. But now it's on the dip. I think you could get into 48, and I want to make sure that I'm buying this dip back into Tesla. We thought it might do a fail break, but you're going to take it regardless. Because if it just flies to 55, you got to take that shot. It's Tesla, it's 250, right? And it's on earnings day. So looking for about a 248 area to get a dip buy here on Tesla. NVIDIA's still looking okay. DJT's not doing anything, and I do have some eyeballs over there on Uber as well. But right now, Tesla, the dip is the first thing on my mind.
Yeah, chips with those dips right now. Okay, so we did get a little bit. I mean, while this has all been happening, we did get out of the majority of our Palantir. Again, light position. We'll take it out and then work on it after. Apple started to go a little bit. We're long here at 20s. Am I on the right stock for you guys? Yes, I am. So we did get a dip buy opportunity there at VWAP, but we have yet to get anything out on this play. I'm at 70s. It keeps on bouncing off of me there at 70. So hopefully we get a nice move back up. We are still on this Google tip right here. I'm going to take a piece out in the 30s, okay, if we can get it out here. Hopefully the market will rip back up to the upside. It's just right now we're underneath VWAP. And what am I long? All of the big guys right now, like pretty much all of them. We're long Tesla, we're long Google, we're long Apple. I mean, what else can we do? Right now we're long all of these names. It doesn't look like Apple it doesn't look like Apple wants to go, and we'll get a 68 fill there. I'm also at 70 looking for a little bit of a bigger move here on Apple to get us going back there to the upside. Hoping it comes through, but not too sure. There's a 70 fill for us right there as well. All right, Google still watching out for 161. If we break below that, then we are gone. We are long at 161.45s. So it's not the end of the world there. Palantir smoked it right there. 46s right now. 50-cent winner there for Palantir. And then Tesla, I'm going to give it to 246. That's where VWAP is. Let's see what winds up happening right now with Tesla. So we're in Apple. Apple's the big winner today. Apple, Palantir is really the big winner percentage-wise. And then we'll have to wait out for our Tesla.
Yeah, Tesla's starting to see some, I mean, it got a bit off the 248 level, but it's starting to see some sellers at the even $1.49. So I think I'm early on the dip because it's still red. You're rolling over. There hasn't been a consolidation or a higher low. So if it holds on to a higher low, puts in a green candle into 250, I want to look to be able to add there. I did get into QuantumScape. QuantumScape just held the 640 level here and bouncing off VWAP. So loses here. I'm out. That 638 is my stop on QuantumScape. But let's go to Adara. We've got numbers.
Just a few seconds here until we get these S&P services, manufacturing, and composite PMI prints here. We're just waiting now. So we just got looks like all of these are higher than expected. S&P services PMI 55.3 versus forecast of 55 for October. Then we have 47.8 versus 47.5 expected for S&P manufacturing PMI. Last but not least, S&P composite PMI 54.3 versus 53.8 expected. So the S&P services, manufacturing, and composite PMI prints all above estimates from what I'm seeing here, guys. Let's see if the market's reacting much. Still hanging out here around this area. We have the Qs slightly stronger than the SPY as of right now. And keep in mind, at 10 a.m., we're going to have more data with new home sales and the month-over-month change in new home sales for September.
All right, thank you, Adara, for all of that. So it actually turned out to be really good for Google, but looks like Apple will probably wind up giving something back. Google's starting to rip back up to the upside as we defended that 161. But we are, okay, there it is. I was going to say, but we are losing it on Apple. So there goes Apple breaking through VWAP through 229.50. So that would be the end of that trade. Good one up to the 50 period, but did not hold. Apple did not hold. All right.
Tesla 250.
Let's go again, man. There's Tesla 250. We've got this one. Big time trading there on Tesla as we just took some outs. Multiple outs there at 250 for us on Tesla. So we could probably reload it if we wanted to back into here. So let's put a little bit more on. And this is how we're making money, man. Back and forth here on TSLA. Look at that reload one more time, guys. Wow. All right, man. We're on one again today for Tesla. Apple, though, is the one that I'm looking at here because we just fell back into 229. So watch out for 228.50s or so here for Apple as that continues to fall down. Palantir now. Wow, Palantir is the hot dog trade of the day for sure as that bounced off of 43 there in the pre-market, but did have that dip down. We missed that one by 6 cents as well. Oh, man, kind of a crazy day trading around here. Let's go find out what Adara's up to.
Part of the show is brought to you by VinFast. Big news from VinFast, ticker VFS, the Vietnamese electric vehicle powerhouse. They've announced record-breaking numbers for the third quarter of 2024 on October 22nd, delivering over 21,000 EVs. That's a jaw-dropping 116% increase year over year and an impressive 66% jump from last quarter. And here's the kicker. September was a blockbuster month with more than 9,300 EVs delivered in Vietnam alone. It's the highest monthly figure ever in the domestic market, setting a new milestone in the country's automotive history. VinFast is now officially the market leader, beating out international rivals by nearly 50%. This marks the first time a Vietnamese EV brand has claimed the top spot. Vietnam joins an elite group of nations where a homegrown pure-play EV company leads the market. It's a major moment for the industry, and all eyes are now on VinFast as they prepare to release their Q3 financial results on November 26, 2024. Stay tuned.
For sure. Wow.
Tesla just continues to rocket and rocket and rocket. Now 251. So fail breakout. We're like, okay, might fail the break. Look for the dip buy. It held trend higher low. Got underneath 49 for a hot minute. I think it just holds on to the trend. Remember, the market's actually bleeding right now to the downside. So this is holding upward trend while the market goes down. Relative strength, obviously. I don't think I'm telling anybody, not telling you anything you don't already know. But NVIDIA, that just came out for me as Tesla went up. So NVIDIA bought the dip off of afternoon highs. It got to 141, almost 141.5, but out underneath break even. Like NVIDIA, like everything else, NVIDIA is just heading into the downside there, so I had to jump out of it there. I did get into QuantumScape. That's basically holding out at about 650. I'm in at 52. It's at 54, 55. The Tesla story is pretty much the only one up that I can see out of these big cap names. Everything else bleeding to the downside. Microsoft and there you go. Microsoft at the low of the day. I just saw Apple try to retest that low. So just got to be patient. If you're trying to catch some of these on the bid, it's really just Tesla that's trend up.
Yeah, Tesla's been, Tesla and Palantir, but Palantir's not a big cap like that. Palantir, again, I think has been
What's in the index now?
wicked awesome. Yeah, no, it's in the index, yeah. All right, so we'll have to watch out for that one. I'm still trying to get some Google love here, but we'll take it out for flats right now. Not for flats, sorry. We're long at 22s, but again, remember our average price was 46s. So, we need this to get going a little bit, which we've already cleaned out some up here for 60s and 50s when we got that number at 945. I believe we actually have, let me check out our research page one more time here just to make sure. 10 o'clock, new home sales coming today. So that's still the hit. I don't think that's going to affect Google, but it could affect the markets. All right, with every new home, hopefully there's a new Tesla power cell or whatever going in those homes to power those up. Let's just, again, we're trading with shares, so we'll take out some more here on Tesla as it is now $1 in the money. And that's just off the reload. I mean, we had it twice now. 2 dip orders there to go on Tesla. So, yeah, man, I mean, I wish we would have had that 250 the first time break, but we didn't. But we have it twice after that. So here goes Tesla. I don't even have any offers. That's a lie. I have one at 250, 150, and I have one at 252. So, and then we do have our dip buy at 246 still in case that happens, which you never know. That could happen. All right, so that's what we're doing right now. Palantir still trying to go upside, so is Google. And then Apple right now does retake that 229. So again, we got out right there. We could have rebought that 228.50, but really didn't see any reason to do that other than the fact that yesterday it got as low as 227 and change. So that might be a little pause for concern there for anybody looking at those levels. So yeah, just a little bit of something there to consider as we look at some Google and some Apple together. Apple definitely weaker, man. The market is up. Apple is red right now, so beware of that one.
Yeah, it's a decent bounce there now in some of those names. Why did I just put fibs on that chart? There we go. So QuantumScape just got right back up to the highs at 675, an immediate rejection, pre-market highs that is. So we had it long here. I added on the way up to get a blended price. So now I have 54s. I mean, you would have seen earlier, it was like said 53, but it's a blended price. So first in, first out. I only have the 54s left. If it loses VWAP, I'm out. I want to hold through a high break on QS here though. So that's going to be the next play. Well, if it breaks the high of the day, it'll be holding through that high of the day. NVIDIA is trying to hold on to the bottom here at that 140. Look at the rejection candle on NVIDIA underneath that 140 level. So this looks like it can be a re-entry here above the 140 level for NVIDIA, finally catching a bit of a bid. I meant to also go over Lam that had earnings, but when I double-checked it, it wasn't more interesting than looking at it in NVIDIA. So the answer is I probably will not trade unless the volume starts to pick up. But NVIDIA now catching a bit of a trend break. I want to see it confirm that we're going to hold the 140, give me a higher low, and then we're going to jump back into that one. There's one other thing I wanted to get to. Yeah, Boeing. That's what it was. I knew it was Boeing.
On test.
Boeing now holding trend up. So the first test of 154, I think, was the chance to get that snap trade. All of a sudden, it's trending up when the market's down. Yeah, I'm not going to be forced to short something that is holding higher lows while the market's bleeding. Not going to do it. You had to take that right away to get that win.
My wife asking me, how's it going this morning? I says, not too bad. How about you? Missed a huge Tesla trade. Wife wants to know, she can find out. And there it is right there. So what's up to my lovely wife, Marissa? Always interested in the business, always interested in what's happening here at Trader TV Live. All right, so, all right, probably because I talked about it every single day to her, and I apologize for that. All right, but I don't really. All right, here we go. Nice little move up there for Google. Let's go, baby. There it is. It's a little bit of a face slapper as we going here on Google. So nice little move back up there to the upside. So let's see if Google can keep on going right there. The huge Tesla trade that was missed was right here. We missed it by 8 cents. Actually bidding 250. 242.50 right there. It goes down to 242.58. But again, you got to be on it to catch it. We were just not on that one. So, well, we were on it, but we weren't actively on it. And now I'm actively on Tesla. So we're taking advantage of all of these little moves, right? There's another move into 250.25s, another out for us. That's another dollar right there on Tesla. They're not reloaded. So it's not like we're having multiple dollars. They're all the same trade. We're just waiting to get longer. But the problem is I'm waiting for VWAP, which I'm not sure is going to come in anytime soon. So we're going to have to be patient on that one. It may take a minute for us to get something going on there. And then we only have about 15% left of Palantir. So a couple good outs right here on the way back up as we were nervous for a fall. So that was a big percentage of our outs right there on PLTR. So it's Google, more outs at the top side, but we'll find some more trades for you. What's up, eh?
Keep an eye on Viking Therapeutics here, VKTX. They're up about 12% here, actually just below that $68 level. This company has run in the past. We have just under a 14% short float. They do some work here in the GLP and weight loss space, and they did have a smaller than expected loss per share for Q3. So positive Q3 results sending VKTX nicely to the upside, guys.
KTX, yeah.
Yeah, worth a look there. I mean, the only small cap that I'm looking at is that QuantumScape after earnings. So it just made another test of trend here while holding higher. It kind of pulled back. It pulled back briefly under, so I took a little bit out. Still going to hang on to a third of it. I think it's got a bit. It's not a complete blue sky setup, but it's a pretty sizable gap on the daily chart. I think $7 is a reasonable target for the next share. So if it breaks 75, I think we can get to $7. Tesla just got underneath 250 again. So it's starting to slow down off this 250 level. Now you have like a rounded top, which is the opposite, obviously, of a rounded bottom. So on that last fail, I took some more out on Tesla. Now holding the last 20%, I want to look for a dip back into the 248 where it bounced before. So if it bounced on the last fail of 250 at 248, I don't like VWAP is so far away that that's the first place I'm going to look. And if it loses 248, I'd try 247. So that's pretty much simple there. I did want to go over DJT, which I didn't pay for locates on DJT. It doesn't really matter. DJT's back over. It's back over that 34.5. That's the over/under. VWAP on DJT 34.5. Big support there the last couple of days. There's your 34.5 support to resistance. All it has to do is now hold on to VWAP, and it can head to the upside. So like QuantumScape, like a VWAP hold and look for it to start running. Liquidity grab and then a V-shaped recovery is good for a squeeze stock, in my opinion.
Okay. All right, and asking Randy if there's a reload possible, so that means
I didn't hit enter.
Should be able to do that. Coming up, guys, look at this, man. Face slapper right now. We're still here, man. This is why you gotta have confidence in what you're doing, because we had taken a hit on Google right here early, and then we had to again. We didn't have many shares when it was falling down, so that's to me that has been a huge difference in what we're doing right now. Is we're letting names fall in instead of getting too super aggressive with them, and then like we said, believing in it and holding it for the eventual move and not panicking and getting out so much. So like right now we still have some shares. Bang! We loving that one right there for us on Google. So nice move up right there, breaking through 162. You guys know that I've been loving this name for a long time, and it hasn't been the greatest on the daily chart here. It's been going sideways for a couple months. But right now, there goes Google right back there to the upside as the market ain't doing anything. And there goes Google, nicely done back there to the upside. So let's go Google, man. Hopefully you can be something like the one here today. We thought Apple was going to be the one, but it looks like Google might be that. And Apple is still fantastic. But this was a name where, again, very, very patient, waiting for it to fall in, right? We did get stopped out of a little bit there. We talked about that, was able to hold back in. Where we wound up losing it was the reload on VWAP. But for me, reloading VWAP, I'm doing that on names that I like that are long. So there's nothing I could do about that. All right, a little bit of a dip down in there. We could have gone longer, I guess, if we wanted to, on our friend and your friend and maybe all of our friends, Tesla today, up 17%. That could have been a dip buy opportunity. So I'm going to put a bid down there in and around 249, just flat, just for a small amount of shares. If we get them, we get them. We'll like double our current position on it if it can come in. It's a small amount. We've already taken many fills on Tesla. Tesla is your P&L #1 stock today. So, yeah, we've traded it really well, and we'll just continue to hold out hope that Tesla can get even higher as we get another fill. We talked about those fills at 250.25s. So we have a couple of those. We'll see if we can get another one. Hey, this stock could go red for me, especially if we go back down in and look at that VWAP, right? So let's be very, very careful with that. That is still on the table, a VWAP test. I mean, we've seen it before. Yeah, possible, very, very possible. I would say almost as possible as getting back to the day's high right now. So we'll wait to see what happens there. Google, good outs for us, man. I mean, above the VWAP and into the 50, looks like a failed 50. Let's get a few more shares out here on Google, and then just sit back and see what we can do with Tesla.
Yeah, you're starting to get this market. The ES doing a little bit better than the NASDAQ off the bottom, but they're both starting to go. Just a couple of things here. I did take another leg out as it keeps challenging trend on QS. I don't want this losing the trend line. I think this gets back to VWAP if it loses the steep trend that it's got going on. So made sure we took some more out. That way I'll want to reload off of 650. DJT consolidated above, but might lose VWAP here. I'm out and taking first hit if it loses VWAP. So consolidated like I wanted, but if it can't hold on to VWAP, I'm jumping out. I do believe it's 10 o'clock. Yep. Time for happening now and more economic data.
Let's do this.
Just getting your new home sales data here. 738,000 versus estimates of 720,000. So the higher than expected new home sales number for the month of September. Home sales change month over month, also higher than expected, up 4.1% month over month. We were expecting here a 0.6% month over month increase. Last report was at a negative 4.7% print there. So basically what we're seeing here is higher than expected home sales, 738,000 versus 720,000 expected, and a larger than expected increase here on a month over month basis, especially worth noting when last month we actually had a pretty significant drop. Market not reacting too much to these numbers as of right now. We still have the Q slightly outperforming the SPY. A lot of that likely has to do with those TSLA earnings, which have Tesla up more than 15% and now flirting with that $250 level. We also have quantum stocks on watch with QS earnings. We had earnings from places like LVS. So we have some of that entertainment and casino sector on watch. And we also have more news with Boeing. It did have its machinist union reject its proposed deal, which included a 35% wage hike. And we also had some comments coming from Southwest CEO, because LUV reported as well, Southwest CEO saying that if the Boeing strike continues, they're going to have to replan the 2025 delivery outlook. So more airlines speaking with caution about BA. We also have UPS still up about 5%, but definitely removed from its highs of day. Strong earnings report here for Q3 for United Parcel Services. Lots to look at today, guys.
Yeah, we haven't even mentioned half of the earnings names, which have been great. So good look for United Parcel Services there. So there's the dip in on Tesla. Although tape's still looking a little bit heavy at these levels. It's starting to level off here after bouncing into that 48 level one more time. I just want to see it. Initial dip off the break, I think it's like that rubber band action. Now I want to see more confirmation that we're headed back into the upside with a green candle in there. So still just the same three names for me, although there is something brewing in Weedland, it seems like. That 530 level broke out. This was the one from yesterday, and they're holding a bid above 530. I didn't like this one enough that it's like an automatic breakout. But now if it holds above the bid, CGC, I don't think there's any specific news here, but a hold over that 530, going to be looking long. Nice consolidation bounce, take out a fresh high, which is 540. Long 41, stop underneath 530 on CGC, but it's got to break out that high.
Google now absolutely monstrous to the upside. And by the way, where's all my guys at? Where's all my traders on Palantir at right now? Wow. The #1 name on the sticky note. every day we're talking about stuff like this, man. And there it is, 43 long. Is what we have written down there. Dip into 42.50 and take the possible break at 43.50. All right, so that's what we're doing. All right, Tesla just made a little bit of a move down in. This is the Google. Let's take out another piece here because, again, we're already celebrating the dollar club. We're long at 161.20. There's another fill for us. So far, so good here on that one as we get some more out at 30. It's Tesla that, again, it's not a problem because we're waiting for lower. And we've already taken this long down there at 10s like we said we would and got them out in the 30s and in the 40s. So for me, it's still fine. We are still well up on Tesla, but it is dropping back in quite nicely right now. And I said that there was a very good chance that we get back into VWAP. It looks like that might be happening right now. So watch out for Tesla making this move in. We could put on some more shares right now on for a little bit of a reload, but we are trying to be as patient as we can with this name by bringing it back down into that VWAP area. So I'm going to have to go over, put some bids out over there, and we're going to go find out what's going on with Adara.
We're going to take a look here at ASTS, which is basically at highs of days. Nice volume spike here at 10 a.m. Currently above the $30 level. Last night announcing here that the Space Development Agency has selected ASTS with regards to an initial contract, which would allow it to serve as the prime contractor to the U.S. government. So early Space Development Agency contract for ASTS, sending this one to the upside. It's rallied in the past. It's actually not a small cap. $4.6 billion market cap. We have 32.3% of this is going to be owned by insiders, and 37.2% of that float is going to be sold short. So decent short float here. And catalyst for ASTS.
Astis is back, apparently. Good for them.
Astis.
Yeah, that's a name that a lot of traders did well on the last time it ran. We'll see if it does it in here today, but Tesla back into that 248. It's now battling the 248 level. I'd say 3 times over under at the 248 already. So with a low of about the quarter mark, I guess, underneath that 248, that's holding on. If you lose this, I think you're headed to VWAP at 47. It just made that low on the wick for the entry, so if it breaks it out underneath, I'm going to jump out and wait for VWAP, where we always like VWAP on a dip buy. It's still heading down. I thought it was early there, and then I'm in on this level. So we'll see. I might still be early on that one. QS just lost the trend line that we're playing off of. So it lost the trend line. If I was flat, I would be playing a reversion into VWAP. So that means get more out. Now only holding on to the last 20% of the position. So got most of it out. When it broke that trend, just cover and then wait for it to pull back into VWAP. No break on CGC. It just hasn't happened yet. And then NVIDIA, which we were in and did not get that last push, it's pulling right back into the 140. Like all that strength that was there initially on the first dip, now you're still making lower highs. Again, want confirmation that we're still going to make some higher lows off this 140 level, and we'll play it back into 141 on NVIDIA. I haven't really looked at AMD today, which is weird. So I'm not sure what it's doing. Just been focused on NVIDIA, obviously in the names that we are in. My guess is not too well, but we'll take a look at some of the other chip names after these settle down.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so we'll just continue to go here. I mean, Apple, thank you so much for doing that, but we're not in you. So there it goes, a nice move to the upside there for AAPL, like as if, but it's making a move. So, I'm not going to hate on this name, but Apple right now starting to get back up there to the upside through 230 right now, which is fine by us, man. I mean, Palantir, I don't know. I don't ever figure out what percentage I'm up, so I do appreciate the question there by somebody in the chat. But we're long here at 43. It's not a huge position. We actually talked about that. It wasn't that huge because we didn't get our dip buy into 42.50s, but it was 43 that I should have looked at on the break back up. That was a level that we liked, and we could have been there, and we just weren't. So that's that's kind of bad that we weren't there, but we'll hold out hope that we can get there again on Palantir to the upside 43.70. So right now, if you're asking what percentage I have left, 20% left is what I have on this one. And then, of course, we're still in Tesla, trying to hold out for this 248 again on this one, waiting for, as we had written down here, play the VWAP bounce. So we're going to try to see if we can get it back in to VWAP and play that trade. We already missed it once down there, which sucked. But all right, right now, 248 on Tesla seems to want to hold. Google, Palantir doing well. Apple doing well. So far, so good here today, but got to be patient with it, man. This is only a 1-minute chart we're looking at, so let it breathe. It's 10:07. What's up, Dara?
Another rally here for EFSH. This one up here around 100%, though it's worth noting really only starting to get volume as of now. You can see this outsized volume candle. Last time I checked here, I think we just cracked like 2.5 million shares traded on the day. So less volume on this EFSH than we might have with some of these other small cap names. There's no news either, but we know it's been running on and off over the last few days, starting last Friday. We have a market cap of $1.2 million, so small market cap. Small float as well here, 670,000 shares, 7.6% of which are going to be sold short. So large short float, small float, and market cap for frequent runner EFSH.
That's a pretty hefty move for EFSH. VWAP is incoming on Tesla. Julie Beckwith, I just want to answer this question for you quick. Why is the stock high day different between Schwab and Webull? My guess is maybe like dark pool filters or something like that. So I can't tell definitively because I'm not on either one of those. But usually it could just be maybe you're throwing out. One could be throwing out odd lots, one could be throwing out dark pools, whatever it might be. There. So that would be my guess, but again, it's only a guess. VWAP did not break at all. Okay. VWAP did not break, so I'm jumping right back in. So Tesla, I did get it filled in front of 249 once. Bad stop placement, so I'm going to get right back in at the same price. We lose 247. I think you're done. I'll get to QuantumScape in a second, but I think DJT is about to roll over through VWAP. So there it is. It bounced off VWAP initially, but now it's rolling over through VWAP. If it holds underneath VWAP, I didn't pay for locates there. My plan is the same as yesterday to short Funware. Funware also lost its It had its CEO step down. I believe it was pre-market that happened. So with DWAC, if it's holding under VWAP, if it happens, I want to short Funware instead because those are free locates for us here at Real Trading. And it just tends to move a little bit more on a percentage basis, and you can follow DWAC as this one goes.
Yeah. Good luck there with DWAC for sure.
Well, we'll see.
Yeah, I guess you're right. We will see about that, if that's going to be a good trade or not. All right. All right, not doing too much, man. I mean, waiting for Google, waiting for some Palantir. If there's anything else. Oh, I know what I was doing. DKNG right here. So I was actually, Donkey Kong, not doing much today, so it's a little less exciting, but I have the order to go short through here, 36.50. So if it breaks, that's going to be a trade that I like. We've been looking at this for a minute, and I've wanted it. We've wanted it even before this. I mean, it was back into here that we were looking at it on Monday or Tuesday, and I even feel like, yeah, there it was there again last week, that 36.50 again. So let's look at it a little bit of a larger time frame here, and you know, it's up today, so all right, maybe it's not going to be the thing. It's basically with the market here up 0.5%. But I think that if we lose this, a little bit of a problem there for DraftKings. But remember, that little wick bottom was 36.30, so we might not get going too much. So my plan of action here is to hit this with more shares than usual and then try to get them out here if we can get even like 10 cents for a little bit. And then if that bottom holds, fine, we'll be able to be out of half or so by the time we get to that 36.30, 36.35, 40 marker or so for the 10 cents. But again, trying to get more aggressive down there with DraftKings if and when it breaks. So, all right, still long right now on Tesla. We've been averaging it in, but we haven't done nothing irresponsible as of yet on this name. It is still my number one P&L name, Tesla, as we wait to see what happens at VWAP. 247 basically there. Bouncing. Is VWAP. So nice. Yeah, this could be a brisket trade, but we'll wait to see what happens right now. 248.50 right now, up to 249, trying to go now for TSLA. All right, there it goes. Yeah, let's see. Hopefully we can get into 249, man, 250. That would be great if we have that opportunity right now. So we're in it, Randy, and we're trying to see where it wants to go. The other name that was on here, Palantir, we're in, check. NVIDIA, not in. Amazon, let's have a quick look to see what we want on Amazon. I mean, I get Amazon deliveries, as we all probably do, every freaking day, and I am loving it.
If UPS is up,
Amazon right now, basically, red against the market, but just barely. It looks very, very similar as you're now bouncing against the 200 period. So that's, to me, looking like a short. But oh boy, there it is again. We'll just hit this because it's funny, because Randy likes to go clubbing. It's a $1 winner right now for Google as it continues to make moves. Oh boy, Randy, it is happening in front of everybody's eyes right now. There it is. We're putting another $1 on the board right now with Tesla as it gets going back to the upside. And hey, man, never fear. We're here trading Tesla right there to the upside. Never fear. Brisket's here. Nice move there for Tesla. Again, boom. A couple nice reloads down there to the downside. Believe in your trade. We talk about it all of the time.
Yeah, I just got some 88s and some 92s. Going to ring the register on Tesla. NVIDIA just came back in as well. So NVIDIA, front side, boo. Backside, better. 140 does hold. It's trying to get into VWAP. The problem with NVIDIA is this downward trend that it's in. So there you go. If it can break out this trend, I think you're going to see the highs. That'll probably take a 141 break. So going to scalp more out in front of VWAP, while Tesla, you know, sometimes you make a bit of a, it didn't break VWAP, and I got out, which is silly. So I got right back in essentially the same price that we got out after the VWAP bounce. And if it can hold 49s, that's great. It's already broken the trend that it had put on since that failed break through 250. Although technically speaking, it wasn't a failed break. They get broke 250, and it did give you outs into the $0.50, certainly, that you could have taken profit on. But now you're holding above trend line again. I think a retest of 250 is very, very likely. QS still not doing much of anything at that 680 level. So all it's doing is holding the high. No pullback, no breakout, but we got this one off of VWAP once. Whether it gives us VWAP again, I am not sure. And I think someone just asked in the chat what the tap on eFresh is. Okay, so this is that one from the other day. I see the tap on EFSH is 374, which is flat, but it's an Amex stock. I don't think we get much of anything with regards to the theoretical auction price. That'll give us too much of an indication until it opens up. So eFresh is halted up 130%. This one was a runner from the other day, and it failed huge at about $4.50. So watch out for that level if you're trading EFSH.
All right, so I know you were in and out of DJT there. Just have a quick little check on it. Downside right now. So it looks like, you know, again, we've talked about not wanting to go short this name. I think you could have gone there at 35 short. I mean, that would have worked. But you got to 34.90 there. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, everybody. We're doing this every single day for you live. So make sure you hit that like, hit that subscribe. I mean, look at this, man. There it is right there. It's $1 plus right now on Google as we get to the high side there. Go find it at Trader TV. Sean, the sticky note is in the building again every single day. And oh boy, we're doing it again, Neil, on Tesla right now. And again, we're carrying a few shares here, so let's wait to see. Hopefully, let's go Tesla. Let's go. Let's get some more out here at 45, as here it is, man. It is by far the #1 P&L name, although Google's trying to say something about that, as is Palantir. So right now, there goes Tesla. Through the roof right now. Shorts getting worked right now on Tesla. Nice play to the upside if you got it. Respect VWAP, and that's exactly what we did. It's exactly what was on the sticky note. And finally, we take our own advice there and get some more down there, right? We weren't going to be scared of this play, but there's some more outs in the 50s. Let's get another piece out right now at 10. Let's just do that. Again, we're ringing registers right now on this name. So big trading, and again, trade it how you guys want to, right? When you're trading a little bit more size, you know, taking out $1, $1.50, taking out 70 cents is well worth it. So, I mean, of course, you're not going to hold, like I held this against me, that dollar, or maybe not even there. So obviously when it goes back up $1 and we're $1 in the money, we should be taking out as many as we think. And we did that right there. So we took out about 30% of our position as we went right back into those levels. So far, so good here for Tesla. And of course, we talked about Palantir a bit already. We just got some more outs at the day's high at 63. That looks like that's really humming right now as well. So make sure you go follow me at Trader TV Sean for all of this every day. 238.40 right now is our average. 248.40, sorry, is our average price here on Tesla. It's coming back in though.
Yeah, it looks like it didn't quite get to 250. I got one fill and did not get one up tight to $250. I was sitting there at 88. And I don't know exactly where the high was because I didn't quite catch it. But I think a second test of VWAP is going to make sense here. You did break that slight trend, but a test of VWAP I think is a place to wait. NVIDIA can't seem to get to VWAP. Like NVIDIA is making lower highs and lower lows right now. Can't ignore what's going on with NVIDIA. Like lower highs, lower lows. If you look at the chip names, and I promised I would at least show you guys, you're already at VWAP on AMD, so that's already bouncing higher. You're above VWAP on Micron, which probably closer related to the HK Hynix because they're a memory company, more directly related to their good earnings. So this is holding above VWAP, whereas all of a sudden, NVIDIA doesn't look quite as strong. If it makes a fresh low, I'm going to jump out of NVIDIA. Don't want to lose more on NVIDIA than we're making on the other stocks. And you know what? It's downward trending today. Like, you can see this. Like, you got some decent bounces, but it's just downward trending stock. I'm going to jump out underneath that high, or sorry, underneath that low, and then wait for a better opportunity. If it wants to show me a rounded bottom and then making higher lows, then that's a break of trend that's going to be worth it. So we'll wait around for that and be patient until it shows a little bit more strength on NVIDIA. I'm just going to stay away from that name. There's still, I guess CGC obviously didn't do anything. Yeah, I guess we didn't get that break on CGC. Where is it? Yeah, it failed at 530 back again. I'm going to go ahead and cancel the breakout. It's underneath VWAP. So at this point, you know, the breakout, I don't want it breaking VWAP, one big push up, and then you're taking the high of the day on a parabolic candle. I'll let it go sideways for a bit and see if it wants to make another run at that fresh high on CGC. For now, a bit of a nothing burger there. What else we got going on here? There was something else I wanted to look at. It was not QuantumScape. I do believe, I know what it was. It was Uber. It was Tesla up, Uber down on the cyber taxi, or whatever you want to call it. You can call it the cyber taxi, you can call it whatever you want. But we didn't actually get that press of a high on Uber, which is 78.80, and it's making lower highs into this level. So trend down. If this loses VWAP, I'm going to look for a short on Uber. Either wait for the top, but if we're going to hold lower highs and break VWAP downside, I'll look for a VWAP short as well on Uber. So that one's still on the radar, part of the morning plan. It just hasn't got to my level and hasn't really trended underneath VWAP yet. So don't want to be early on that short.
All right, green day for us today, so we're really happy, obviously, with how things have been working out. Google, Palantir's been the big one. Well, Palantir's been the big one, but it really has been Tesla. I mean, I do like that Uber. For me, you guys know we started a position there at $80. And I'm not... I'll probably go in there and potentially buy some today. I'll let you guys know. Again, I'll post it on my X if I do any more buying there. But I was always going to be waiting for the 50-period moving average. And again, kind of like not as expected, but you knew that, as I said, we're long Tesla. So this has been great, but I'm not doing the flip over on that, right? If Uber goes downside, I'm not like, one's not against the other. It's not a pairs trade or anything like that. As we'll wait to see what happens here with Uber, holding out real well. It doesn't look like they want to sell this name, so I do think that that's a valid spot there. I wish that I could come to short this Amazon, because I really think it's at a level now. But the thing is like it's definitely reacting positively right here, bouncing off of that VWAP and then trying to take out 186.50 again. So we'll have to wait to see what happens to that upside there in and around that 186.20 is the high. So I think now maybe it is going to be clear skies there for Amazon now that we've cleared VWAP. So I did have written on here Amazon 187. All right, we just got another piece out there at 249. So again, we're just sort of milking this one. This is going to be your number one stock today, Tesla, P&L wise. All right, so I just want to go back to Amazon quickly because I want to see Tesla because I saw that I got that fill. And then, yeah, so I was looking at 187, just thinking that right into here where we've sort of dropped out from, that this could be a short if we got back up there. It's also the 50-period moving average on a 20-minute chart. So that was giving me some sort of a guide there, but yeah, actually, you know what? We're only at 186. I mean, I guess if we go another $1, we could short Amazon. So let's be patient with that one. $1 in the money on Google, 70 cents in the money on Tesla, 70 cents in the money on Palantir. Neil, that's over $2.50 in the money as we speak right now. So far, so good there. And again, a lot of the damage being done on Palantir, which is just a $43 nit.
Great look over there, and I think we're just 1 second, I think we're going to go over for the small cap recap. I got some out on QuantumScape at the high of the day, and Tesla did an over-under at 249, so I took one more leg out, holding on to 20% left of Tesla. Just want to see it make a push at that 250 level, and maybe we'll get a reload at VWAP. We'll see. But it is time for the small cap recap with Adara.
Recovery for IWM. We know that the Russell 2000 has been selling off over the last few days. We get this nice bounce here around 218. As of right now, still rejecting 221, but we know there's been some interactions over the last few days for the Russell at 220 and 222. So keep an eye on that. In terms of small caps, EFSH definitely pulling back a bit here, but 1847 holdings is worth noting because this is a bit of a random spike. We didn't have much volume pre-market. I think just after 10 a.m., we'd reached about 2.5 million shares traded on the day for this ticker that usually trades around $3 as of late. Some info on this, it has a market cap of around $1.2 million. We've got a float of about 670,000 shares, and 7.6% of that is going to be sold short. So small market cap, small float, and a decent short float for EFSH. Now we have this TC, Tuanche. This stock, not seeing any news on this, it is a Chinese ADR, market cap around $5 million, and a float of just over 1 million shares. So another small float runner here for TC. And last but not least, we have this ticker here, NUKK. This is interesting. I saw last night, apparently around right near the closing of the late session, so around 7:50 p.m., it was halted, news pending. It then unhalted this morning. Couldn't find any news on Nucleus, but it also is another name with a small market cap and small float. I was seeing about a $4 million market cap, float of 1.08 million shares, 7.8% short float for NUKK. Lots of low float runners today.
Yes, sir, absolutely, and great look on all those going nuclear. We're thrilled to announce here that Trade the Pool has a huge giveaway. 7 traders will win $20,000 in buying power to trade with. This is your opportunity to start trading and getting funded with Trade the Pool for free. The registration runs from the 21st to the 25th, so get in there, and the winners will be announced October 29th. Do not miss your chance to get funded. Trade the Pool is a prop trading firm that funds stock traders through a unique evaluation model. The firm allows traders to trade over 12,000 stocks and ETFs, including penny stocks, with the freedom to trade during pre-market or after hours and bypass the PDT rule. Traders who pass the evaluation receive funds and share profits with the company. Join now for free. Link is in the description. QR code is right in front of you, so go ahead and scan that for your chance to win $20,000 in buying power with the chance to become a funded trader there over at Trade the Pool. Shout out to them. I appreciate them. So just now,
oh boy,
I mean, Tesla just took the 249.
Oh,
it's just headed to that 250 one more time in there. Last time I waited 88s. This time I'm actually going to take the fill at 75. If it doesn't break 250, we can still wait for VWAP. Want to see if we can make a fresh high on Tesla. At this point, it's a blue sky, like every $5 I think makes sense. So if we break the 250 again, the local top, I saw 250, what is that high? I saw 50 underneath 51s, although my thing is saying it printed above 251. I kind of had the high as underneath that 51 level, but either way, 251 would be a local break of that high. We just took some more in front of 250. You are seeing those even dollars start to sell. It was at 49, it consolidated, and then at 50, you're seeing a bit of resistance. I'd expect the same thing at $251. The only other name that we're going to be in after getting out of NVIDIA, QS just broke high today again. Now we're going to hold through a $7 break and just see how far it can go. This is 7 in here last time on the daily. Got to about 730 and rejected. So if it gets into the 20s, want to take some out there and see if it can take out 730. QS reported 15 to 16% short float, trying to go to the upside.
Okay. Yeah, so again, we'll have a little different strategies here on Tesla. I mean, I've been getting it out all the way up. So we talked about that, and so that's what we've been doing there. When we last came to you, we said we were 230 in the money. I mean, now we were just like $4 in the money on everything as the market just tried to take VWAP and missed again right there and then fell right back in. But we take advantage of it, right? You have to do that. You have to. You have to take advantage when stuff like this happens. So, and it's happening right now, so we're taking advantage of it. So there it is right there. Good move for us on Google. We just got some out in the 40s, guys. and we're long with 161.22. So that was $1.20 there as we wait now for everything else to sort of load up right here. So that's what's happening right now. Micron, we can have a quick look at that. I mean, I'm trying to figure out what is moving around. We can check out here. These are the top trades. This is the hot list buy e-signal. I've been using this for 22 years right now. So let's go over here and have a quick look. I like, that's what I was looking for, trade rate. So these are stocks that might be sort of printing right now outside of the norm. So there it is, like the ones that are actively going. HYG, that's high yield. So we're not worried about that. JNK, the junk bonds there as well. SOX S. So as I'm doing all of this here, I'll bring down this chart to show you guys what's happening right now. So there goes SOX S. It's a 5-minute chart, nicely cooking there to the upside on that one. DJT, we've talked about that one. I think this is going to be a stock here today. I know Neil was on that one. Nice short there at 35. We'll see what happens there with DJT. Sofi moving around. Sofi does hit its brand new 52-week high. What the hell? Oh my God, SoFi right now, 11.25 and going higher. I'm going to, I know you sold some the other day. I'm going to probably sell some.
What did you say? You said 11.25?
Yes, man. So SoFi right now is absolutely ripping. Good thing if you took the sticky note advice from a couple days ago, but remember, those advices are just intraday. And there goes SoFi right now. Huge move to the upside. I'm going to message my wife because I know we have this in various accounts. This one is now should be well in the money. We'll see what happens now with SoFi as there it goes back up to the upside. Now really taking names. Derek, give me the goods on SoFi when you get a second. It is really ripping to the upside right there. We're holding out hope for Tesla on a monster position. So we'll wait to see what happens here with TSLA.
We have here SYY. This is Cisco. This company here down about 1.33% here for SYY. They actually apparently are involved with Taylor Farms. Taylor Farms is the company that has been basically had to issue a recall with their onions with regards to the McDonald's quarter pounder E. coli situation. So it looks like SYY, much like MCD, does get their onions from Taylor Farms. Apparently they've informed some customers about the onion recall via an emailed statement. So their spokesperson saying that they have let their customers know they're also being impacted by this Taylor Farms onion recall. MCD hasn't moved on this, guys, but SYY sharply to the downside. Also, we'll take a look at crypto here for this crypto update as we get into 10:30. We'll take a look at IBIT. Nice continue moving from yesterday's lows here around 215 up 37. Bit of a rejection here at 38.70. And as of right now, a bit of a base with lower highs so far today around 38.45. Also, we're noting the crypto space. There's actually apparently new T-Rex Ethereum ETFs. I know one of them is ETU for the short side. So new Ethereum spot ETFs coming out from T-Rex and IBIT trying to see if it can hold on to this uptrend from yesterday's low, guys.
Yeah, good bounce there. McDonald's, forget about not affected by it. McDonald's is actually very close to when I saw that other stock in the news at Cisco, almost breaking out yesterday's high on McDonald's as we speak. So the recovery for the Big Mac, well, I eat the Big Mac there, for McDonald's is going very, very well. So NVIDIA didn't quite get to 138. What a roll through at that 140. Like it was making the lower highs. Glad we got out of that one. But now you're starting to bounce off that 138 here on NVIDIA. 138.5 is the current low. Actually, never mind. A little bit underneath that. So looking for it to hold a higher low. Try to jump in on the front end. If you're not in this snap long there, then I'm not chasing it up here. I was waiting for it to get to 138 specifically to try to bounce right off the even level. So it needs to show me a higher low if I'm not going to play the absolute right price, which I don't think it's the absolute right price just yet. The other thing I wanted to go over, TSM, if you look at the chips that were bleeding, which a lot of them are, TSM just held the low. I think that can be a bit of a good sign. And if we continue down trend with the chips, the weakest chip name yesterday was easily ARM by far with that Qualcomm. Look, they're just Qualcomm and them are fighting. They're trying to get more money at Qualcomm. Qualcomm's like, no, we're going to kill your license. And they're like, go ahead, try, we'll see. So that battle weighing on the stock. If this can break trend, I will ignore. But if it holds on to trend and the chips continue to fall, then this is a nice little flat bottom potential breakdown here on ARM. Not yet. Let's see how this bounce goes because I think we're at a support level and I'd rather look for those longs here in NVIDIA. Not quite at that 138, but it might not wait for me. I thought we were going to press down. It was just back at those 60s I thought we're going to press down into that 138. Doesn't look like it's the time. Might already be catching a bit of a bid over the 39. If the next bar opens and holds over 39, I'll go for the higher low. We're going to give it some time. Got about 30 seconds to confirm this here on NVIDIA.
All right, more outs for us. Here, we haven't hit this too much today, so we'll do it. Where's my pen? Oh, it's all the way over here. All right. More outs there for Tesla as we go. More outs there for Google. I mean, these are the big days. Thank you, Adam, for your kind words in the chat as well. And I know that you can, you know what's going on here. And I mean, the thing at the end of the day is that you got to continue to trade the right names. And I mean, I don't feel any ways about sort of the run we've been on here, everything. It's trying to stay with the names. That is supposed to say patient, but now I realize that looks like an N. Patents right there. Get some patents on this sticky note. It is already, yeah, don't worry about it. Right there, so there's Tesla right there, VWAP dip buy, and Tesla right now is the #1 stock, not even close here today. So that's Tesla for both of us, right? Palantir there as well, 43 long. I mean, is that not? We can review all of these. I'm just trying to show you guys. NVIDIA 138, has that come in yet? Have we been on NVIDIA yet? No. Google 163 long. That one didn't even get a chance to defend, but we were able to go long on Google, and you could see right now $1.40 in the money on Google as we were as patient as possible with that one and let it fall in. We did get out right there. Like, it didn't even give us 163 broke at 920. Like, it wasn't even a thing as it broke a little bit lower there. So we'll have to wait to see now what we're thinking about everything. But for now, I'm happy. We are very, very happy as we have over $4 now in the money on all trades combined. So there it goes. Now $1.54. Where else are we here on Tesla? All right, I was waiting at 250 and change. Let's just put another out right now at 266. I mean, we have more shares on purpose. Let's use them right there. You know, this is what we talk about. If it's going to be one of these days on Tesla, let's make sure to take advantage of and get out when it's cooking. And right now it's cooking. Nicely done to the upside for Tesla. We just got bounced off of us again, which is fine. 249.66 we're waiting at. Let's put another offer there. 46s. Take a piece out there if we can get it one more time there. There we go. There's the out there at 46. Let's now cancel our 66. It's just another $1.40 right there for Tesla. So we'll just continue to do that here. Back and forth here in the market.
Back and forth. Now check it. Let's go. Aaliyah, rest in peace. That is an absolute banger of a song. I love it. I've always been a fan of that one. But look, we're back and forth and now right back up into the highs in the market. But can't ignore when you get, if you're in a rejection of like $7, like look at the rejection here on the $7 level. I said I had to hold through a 7 break on QuantumScape. So you wait for it to consolidate, give a higher low above that 640 level on the daily. So this is 640 on the daily chart, QuantumScape. Once it confirms that it's holding above at the open, grab longs. If we lose the trend, I'm jumping out. That'll be under 670. Realize I actually have to change the script order, and now we got our old one back, so I love it. So if we lose this trend line, I'm out and probably waiting to see if it can hold on to the 640, but I'd still like a test of that 7 level. Tesla's still doing the same thing that it was before. We talked a little bit of ARM, but not much happening over there in ARM or TSM. Want to see us settle down on those chip names, which have been trend down mostly. Uber is almost there. Like it's trending up towards 78.8, down 1.5%, so almost 2%, but getting a nice bounce into prior support. Once it gets there, I'm looking for a mean reversion. If it breaks out 79, I think it probably goes $1. But once it gets to that price, I'll look for a trend break for like a reversion trade back into VWAP. So again, just trying to be patient with it. As far as Tesla goes, I think that 250 level, there's still sellers there at the 250. There it is again, tagging that 250 level. I thought that last push was going to get us back into VWAP. The good news is it hasn't. Now all of a sudden you've got the higher low where the first dip was. So I don't know. It's not like like a reverse head and shoulder. Is that what they call it? So there's your shoulder, there's your head, there's your shoulder. Now we got to look for a breakout of that top. Next stop is the 251. That's where I'm going to take any fills. Is going to be breaking 50 out in front of 251 and still want a VWAP retracement there on Tesla. So it's got to be very patient with that. You know, guys, see what's happening over in some of the crypto names. I actually wasn't looking at crypto that much today. Thought this was going to be obviously a Tesla day, which clearly it is. But MSTR 7%. We're not at 60. I guess we're at almost 68,000 on BTC. But this one absolutely flying. Bitcoin on the break back up, but the lower high is 68,000 is that resistance spot. So you're kind of back underneath it. I think you got to take 68 for some continuation on Bitcoin. MSTR is always going to outpace it because it's obviously a leveraged way to look at it. But if we lose 68,000, I'm not saying I would go short there, but I mean banking some profit if we never break that high would make sense. I don't have any Bitcoin short plays.
And oh boy, I hear my guy Joe over there talking about go BTC. So we say go BTC as well. We're loving some BTC these days. We're also loving altcoin season. I talked about this on Monday. I said altcoin season has arrived, baby, right now. And you can see right here. There it is right there. It's Dogecoin up again nicely. It's Solana. Let's go Solana right now as that's going to be. I told you I actually have more Solana than I do Bitcoin as that continues to make moves higher right now for that. Tether. Of course, I'm not going to tell you that that's up because if it was ever moving around, that would be very bad. I've got you there. You don't have to worry about this, my guy Fabian. Right now, trying to host and trade. It's a very unique proposition right here, but I can't do it without telling you guys all about e-signal. Look, man, I mean, I've been using e-signal. We talked about this already for years and years and years and years. Actually, 22 years right now, the senior trader here on the floor, and I've never stopped using e-signal. Make sure you click that QR code right there on your screen. I mean, everything that it's showing right there. They've got apps. You can download different algorithms that will trade for you, that will show you different trading opportunities live on your screen. Not only that, it also gives you live market data. It's a entitlement-based subscription system. So you want to trade Hong Kong, you want to trade Nikkei, you want to trade whatever, Zitra, anywhere you want to trade, you can get entitled with e-signal. The scanners, the watch lists, everything, it's all there, baby. So make sure that you get signed up right now with e-signal. But oh my God, there it is, man. The money trade is back in the building right now as Tesla just goes to 250, baby. It's a nice upside move. Fabian, we done now. There goes Tesla up to 250. So let's go. We'll see where we can go. We're waiting higher than 250 to see if we can get a break on this name. You are right, man. The money is pouring in right now on Tesla. And this is what we talk about. Buy the dips into VWAP. And that's exactly what we did. But everyone wants to know one thing. What's for lunch? All right. We're finally getting some more traders around here. That's wicked awesome. They are going to, we say so long to BPI, but this was a big Patty Ice favorite. Tesla breaking 250 right now. It is grilled strip loin with sweet onions, cremini mushrooms, caramelized sweet potatoes, green beans, baby carrots, arugula salad with spinach, cucumbers, sweet peppers. Brendan, for you, strawberries, and a little bit of feta cheese. Yeah, I don't like that either. The chef's kiss today for lunch, but you know what, man? We are on one today because it's Tesla. It's a trophy day again. We should have a little thing. A trophy goes there. But there it is. It's Tesla. It's a big day today. Hallelujah. Nice upside move there for Tesla. But we were waiting at 250.25. Let's get a piece out right there at 250.10s. And now we go higher and higher and higher. And man, oh man, this has been a big day for us here at Trader TV Live. I hope you're enjoying the program. Hit the like, hit the subscribe. Your boy just has a $2.50 winner right now. It is another one. Right now we are combined in the money, $4 on 3 positions. Thank you, Tesla. Thank you, everybody. Shout out to Chef Joe. The Tesla bangers are here, and so is Adara at the screen.
Lots of strength in the market, but we're not seeing any leadership in the Mag 7, with the notable exception of Tesla leading the consumer durable sector strongly to the upside on its earnings report. Other than that, though, and a bit of strength in Amazon, if you look at the big tech, it's really honestly pretty weak. So we have technology services, strength in some other names like Oracle, CRM. We have ServiceNow after their earnings, and some weakness in IBM. But generally, lots of flat trading here for Google, Microsoft, and Meta. Apple and NVIDIA similarly flat when you consider generally the strong performance that we're seeing here in the rest of the electronic technology sector. But let's take a look here at some of these other sectors as well. Pretty strong here, consumer services, as we have Starbucks moving up after yesterday, MCD on watch after yesterday's move down in the E. coli news as well. Some strength in health services. Communications mixed. We have TMUS looking great after earnings yesterday, but VZ and T a little bit lower. Transportation a bit mixed. Also kind of mixed to flat here in producer manufacturing. Finance here, BRKB notably to the downside, but a little bit of green. So pretty mixed picture, but what we're not seeing right now is tech leadership, guys.
Yeah, it's not tech leadership. It's Tesla leadership right now overall in the market. So Tesla just broke the $0.50 on the way to 255. I just took the last piece I will take out underneath 251. And now it's got to either break 251 or we got to look for something else here. Because the 251 breakout, I don't love a breakout at this time of day. I feel like usually you get traps at these like 11 o'clock area breakouts going into lunchtime. So I think, waiting around for VWAP might not happen. You can see 249 in here. That was the last area hold where you made this fresh trend to the upside. So I'd look back for a 249 reload first. If we show some kind of a setup for a long, like a bottoming tail candle, a rounded bottom, something along those lines, I don't like.
Wow.
I think one bad trade was like actually getting on the way down instead of on the way back to the upside. So we'll look for a 249 re-entry there on Tesla. I said QuantumScape was about to get me out on the trend. So there we go. It closed underneath the trend line, punched out of it. I think this one can get back into 640. I'm trading it off 640, not VWAP. That was the level on the daily. So played to 7, but could not break 7 off that 6.5 on QS. Tesla's going to break to 251. I'm not taking a break out of 251. I want to play the dip off of a 251, looking for about 249, where it settled in before. So Tesla's still leading that charge. I see some people saying drug is making some moves. Apple, if it gets past 231, looks good. I mean, Apple, if it gets past 230.5, looks good, as you've got a nice little opening range top in here and some higher lows. I mean, this thing dropping like $3 off of the open, now making some higher lows, starting to get some strength overall in the tech names. And you look at the NASDAQ here, you got yourself a hold, but you haven't really broken the trend just yet. I think you're pretty much at VWAP when I look at it here. You're pretty much at VWAP on the NASDAQ. So you're looking for I'm just looking for a close above VWAP. That's a 60-minute. On the 15, see there, just looking for a close above VWAP, and then the ads up here will look a little bit better. But let's go to Adara.
Oh, boy.
This part of the show is brought to you by Firefly Neuroscience. Firefly Neuroscience has taken a bold step in advancing brain health technology. In collaboration with Bright Minds Biosciences, Firefly's innovative AI-powered platform has successfully analyzed data from a groundbreaking phase 1 clinical trial using advanced EEG technology to track brain activity. This data unlocks new potential in treating neurological and mental disorders, reinforcing Firefly's position at the forefront of the brain health innovation. As they prepare for phase 2, this partnership signals exciting developments for the future of neuropsychiatric treatments. Firefly Neuroscience, shaping the future of brain health.
Yeah. I feel like we've been having one of those pills lately. What's up, everybody? Yeah, this should be a new segment, talking with the people here like this, the people's trader talking with the people one-on-one. I mean, look, the thing about all of this is there is time in the day when you want to sit back and relax. It's now 10:45. The damage is already done here. We've already made that money. We'll be focusing now on what the next kind of plays are here. So we're just kind of just chilling out, relaxing, watching the markets and trying to make that thing spin one more time. I mean, Tesla is the name of the game here today as it just continues to make new highs. 250, the high is 251.10 right now on e-signal. So we'll see if that can come into play. Let's go over to the chart right now. I mean, this is why we're just stone cold chilling right now. We still have a third on of our position, and this is what we wanted to do. We've wanted to do this. And when you get trades back into your account that you mean to take, it is pretty important that you take the right amount of shares. We talk about this again, literally all of the time. And you take it, you put your money where your mouth is, and there it goes back there to the upside for Tesla. I'm going to take another piece right now. Why not? Let's just take a offer, enter, get 40s. Every single time I take something out, seems like it just wants to go higher and higher. But Neil, it is now $3 in the money on we already told you, an upsized position. So obviously it's going to continue to work. The only position that we didn't have that was a much bigger one than normal, not than normal, but just a normal one, was Palantir. Palantir, we did not have our full boat on, which is too bad because this should be P&L number one, but we missed that by 6 cents. So, I mean, if you guys want to talk about real trading, I think you've seen it today. We've traded Tesla today with no outs, like nothing out. Like all of our trades have been winners on that one. We don't go in and out. Google, I mean, honestly, pretty smooth there. Palantir, 43 off the jump. We took that live with you and talked about the position sizing and then talked about the low that we were waiting for that we wind up missing. And then Apple. So Apple will be a name that we should have probably stayed with. But there it goes, upside move, now trying to come back in. But yeah, man, this is just straight up chilling. And this is what we do, man. This is not only, you know, the thing is, we talk about it. Some people can teach but can't do. We're trying to do both right here. That's what sparked the sticky note. That's what sparked these live lessons here as we go. And we're just putting into work everything that we believe in. And so far here, this year, this earnings season has been a really successful one. Look at that out. Look at all these outs there on Tesla to the upside. So a bunch more here right into these levels. So we've hit so many outs near the highs that if this does fall back into VWAP, like obviously we're playing with house money, but I still think we want to try it one more time. But now it's coming up to 247. So I'm going to adjust expectations now and wait to see if we do get another VWAP test. We're, like I said, we're almost there. We got another out there. We have about 20 to 25% left on this. As we just took it out, we had 30.
Yeah, I'm not thinking of rushing into anything right now unless you get Tesla at VWAP or some other stock making a break, maybe like a CGC that we were talking about earlier, because this is what happened on the NASDAQ. We were just talking about this. The NASDAQ holds on overnight lows, was trying to close above VWAP in there, and it just doesn't happen. So you're rolling right back underneath VWAP. So that's not the time that I want to put in any long re-entries. Want to look for that bottom. It bounces again, then you buy the good stocks. Like anything that you like for strength, that's the place to do it. Now, the chip names have not been doing as well. ARM still down 1 1/4 or 1 1/3, I should say. This one, if we're not going to break any fresh highs, is starting to look like a VWAP short. This was maybe the weakest name in the chip space. I'm 90% sure about that yesterday. So I do want to favor the short trade on ARM. Thought maybe with strength, you'd get a push back in somewhere where it closed, and then you could fade the high. But we're busy looking for long trades early. Now we got to look at the VWAP trade. So if we don't break highs in the NASDAQ, I'll be looking for VWAP retracement on ARM. If everything is flying, I'm not just going to stand in front of it. We have to hold that consolidation short area on the NASDAQ and the chip names if I'm going to make that play. I still have up CGC, but it's now underneath VWAP all the way down at $5. So I think the breakout's probably going to have to wait another day on CGC. Still consolidation, but like the failed break over 53, I wanted it holding, retaking the high. It's got a higher low in the higher time frame, but you know the strength seems to have come out of that one. It was randomly strong anyways. It was no story. Let's go over to Adaris, see how the USD is doing with Money Talks.
USD actually pulling back a little bit here. It's interesting. We did come up, made a nice V-shaped recovery with a bit of a double bottom here, coming back to that previous area that we got in August 2024 of this 104.50. Right now, it looks like that actually could be serving as resistance. So interesting look here. We'll have to see what happens tomorrow and how we unfold from here on out for that DXY, which is maybe slowing its rally down at least a little bit. Lots of economic data today in a week that we generally haven't had very much. Starting with 8:30 a.m. Initial jobless claims lower than expected, 227,000 versus 243,000 expected. We also got new home sales for September coming in well above expectations here, 738,000 versus 719,000 expected. Home sales increase here, 4.1% month over month versus last month where we saw a negative 2.3% move. So higher than expected move here for the DXY. We had also, or sorry, not the DXY, for the new home sales. We also had higher than expected S&P PMI prints across the board for services, manufacturing, and composite. Interestingly enough, too, we did have some comments coming from Fed's Hammock. This is a newer Fed speaker. Beth Hammock has replaced Fed Mester, who retired there at the end of August. Fed's Hammock saying that inflation has eased amid a strong job market, and also said there's reason to expect more disinflation. So potentially dovish comments coming here from Fed's Hammock ahead of the FOMC meeting November 6th and 7th. Also, we have the 5-year bond auction at 1 p.m., guys.
We'll see how that one does. I mean, a lot of people have been talking about yields, right? Like, going a little higher than people would expect, but that could be related to the election as far as I'm concerned. But another push back on the futures in here. The NASDAQ just got back into the lows. The NVIDIA just rolled over past the 140 level. This one, you know what, NVIDIA, the 140 has been a key level. I don't know why I'm not just shorting it off of VWAP. Like I told you, we got out of it because of the lower highs, right? So first bounce, good. We obviously hold on to some to get stopped out, but we could have just left it there and been green. But then 2 more shots at it. First one got it on the front end, bad. Got on the back end, I think okay, but couldn't break VWAP. So down on NVIDIA, but it's not, I got away from it, so that was a good idea, but it's lower highs and now VWAP short at 140. So the next time it comes in here, if it holds on a trend, I got to look for a short opportunity on NVIDIA. Tesla doesn't, I mean, Tesla is allergic to VWAP at this point, so I think hoping for a VWAP retracement. Like at this point, like you're trying to be patient, thinking it'll get back into like a key level like a 49 or into VWAP, and it's just not doing it for you right now here on Tesla. So it's going to probably break out that high. Still not going to look for the break. Whatever the breakout is at 251, whenever it does it, I want to play it into the dip, into whatever the prior support happens to be. Right now, that's like 249.5. So if it breaks 251, I'd wait till it gets just underneath 250 to look long again there on Tesla. See what else. Let us know what else you guys are looking at in here, because I'm just kind of going over all the same names. It is what it is. NVIDIA is trying to get into VWAP, as we said. Some of the other chips, like an AMD, AMD's at the low of the day. AMD is awfully sick. But if you remember what happened, like AMD caught one heck of a bid yesterday and got right into 153 at the close. So V-shape into 153, morning resistance, I know because that's where I was shorting it in the morning, and then 153 was a target on the longs, it looks like. If this loses 153 today, I guess AMD's really the bleeder. Forget about NVIDIA. AMD doesn't have a green candle on the 15-minute. Right. This is the one to, no, NVIDIA's not the one to short, it's AMD. AMD's, something wrong with AMD here.
Yeah, AMD was the #1 P&L name yesterday on the show, so props up anybody that traded that one there yesterday. We talked about the weakness in AMD earlier. Look, man, I just want to thank absolutely everybody for watching again today. Make sure you hit the like, make sure you hit the subscribe. I mean, if you thought we had a good time today, I mean, wait to see tomorrow. I mean, every day is just, and I got some notes. I want to thank Bears vs. Bulls, talking about how some of the couple last recap shows have been some of the best ones. I want to thank you for that. I want to thank Neil, Adara, everybody for trying to make this show as best as possible. Yesterday's show was a banger in the afternoon as we waited for Tesla earnings, and today's show right here in the morning is just that again. Multiple dollars all over the place, man. Tesla right now is $2.25 in the money. Google right now is $1.30 in the money, and we just getting them out at the high side right now. I mean, you guys are here for Tesla, and I hope that we did it right. I mean, it is your big trade alert on the sticky note. It's all over all of our trading today. It's P&L #1, obviously, and it's not even close. So it's Tesla, it's everything, it's Palantir, and it's been Google, but the market is trying to fade out just a little bit, coming back into those lows. So let me just give you a quick little rundown here of what I'm thinking. Google, we have like 5% left, if that. I might just get it all. I will get it all out when we break through VWAP. So let's just put that order in right now. Like, we have no stop outs anywhere, baby. We'll go, I don't know, yesterday we went in the pool. We'll see what we do today. 161.98 right now. Let's get out of it all if it goes through there. But oh boy, are we starting to get some nice moves here for sure. All right, so that's what's happening there. 162 out if it drops. Otherwise, you'll see me in this when we come back at 2 o'clock. All right, Tesla, idea for this one. All right, so we're going to do the same thing that we wrote down before, dips into VWAP. We missed this one, which is embarrassing. I was really mad at it. I still am. But again, life of a trader, you know, you write it down. Unfortunately, we were sitting there. We missed that $5 move by 8 cents. But then it dips back in and we take it again. This time, a lot more aggressive, taking it in the 50-period moving average, trying to support that VWAP. So my trade now is the same thing again. Let's see 247 come to roost. Then we'll start to buy some more. As we just taken more out, we just got another piece out right there again at 250. So we're just starting to get these all out in hopes that we can make something happen here on a dip buy and a reload. Palantir, we have 1% left. I might as well just be getting out. These were all outs up here. Why don't we just punch out of Palantir right now, I guess, as we're underneath the 200 period. We don't have anything else to prove here with this name. This is going to be a big stock as well. For us, this is P&L number 2. Today is Palantir, so we're happy with that. And then we'll just watch out for Google and Tesla. And other than that, man, it'll be 10:57 right now. A couple more minutes. We've got Joe coming. We'll talk about the wheel.
Iron Condor.
Okay, Iron Condors and the wheel. There, and your Wheel of Fortune. So get ready for Joe and his Vanna White, Sharif, coming there today on the options talking. Ask your questions. Get ready to go. It is your midday trading lesson today brought to you by Joseph. What's up, Adira? All right.
Oh, we just...
I said, what's up to her? Instead of getting an English response, I got a yawn. So that was cool.
If you,
all right. So,
and the timing of it was actually like it was spot on. It was instantaneous response. Tesla just made another press. That was my reaction. Was actually Tesla just made another run at that high of the day. So I think look, it's going to get to 251. If the market's at lows and it's at the highs, we didn't come all this way not to get to the $251 level. I think it's. Oh no. Apple just lost VWAP. AMD's went to the low of the day. We're still pressing the low of the day. It's just weird because Tesla's up 17%. It doesn't feel like it, but trust me, it is. NVIDIA's still heading into the downside. Havana Woody says, get your fun long now. Here, Funware trending down 16%. Remember, Funware lost their CEO, I believe it was this morning. That was a news story that has it down 16%. Don't really have any key levels on this, but if you look here, $11 looks like a support level for fun, and it's got a nice little trend. This is a mean reversion trade. I wonder, usually OB goes the other direction, but it's at support. You do have a bit of a trend line, which is it's trying to break in here. Let's go like that. So you do, if you close back above and break 12, this is a standard mean reversion. I like those usually the other direction. But yeah, that actually looks pretty good. It's on the 15-minute. It also draws the line on my 3-minute here. Doesn't look very good on the 3-minute chart, however. So I don't know. I'm going to stay away from Funware today. It's got a negative catalyst with it as well. It's all about whether Tesla's or when Tesla's going to break that 251. I think that's the next play. And the other thing I'll probably be trying to do is short the next available pop. Maybe we get VWAP or just trend on AMD. Not NVIDIA. AMD's the weak one. It's not NVIDIA. I think this is the one that looks like a better shorting opportunity. But, you know, that's why we're here, man. You know, I was on NVIDIA early looking for longs. Didn't work out. I'm like, oh, I should flip short. AMD's weaker than NVIDIA. So want to play some shorts? You want to play the weakest stock shorts and the strongest stocks long. Right now, Tesla is the strongest stock. But you guys are headed on over. We've got midday with Sharif and Joe. And we'll be back at 2 o'clock. Don't worry about it. And the aftermarket show has some more earnings to come through. But let's get on over to the midday, learn to trade options.